Happy Friday, everyone. That means another live lawn care Q&A. My name is Ron Henry, and I am here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box, and in that chat box, you enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not, but either way, we have an amazing time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. So hopefully everyone is having a great Friday. You know, today's the last day of May, moving into June, which should be great. And the lawns are looking great. I got lots of great content tonight to share with you guys. Lots of great top dressing videos to show. Various states of projects. So we can give you guys updates on that. Also tonight, if you guys are interested, we're going to be talking about spraying. So one of the common questions that I've been getting this time of year is people are getting into spraying liquids on their lawn for the first time, and they're concerned about, how do I mix the right amount of product with the right amount of water, and what spray tip should I use, and all these types of things. So we're going to walk through all of that tonight. We're going to go from soup to nuts, everything that I think at least is pertinent about spraying, and at least enough to get you on your way, and then you can play with it and learn from there. You can tweak from there as you see fit. We're coming to you guys live, as always, with YouTube being our primary platform. We're also available on Instagram, Twitter, and Meta and Facebook. On Instagram, we are back to the normal. I'm using the phone today instead of what I did last week with the streaming software because the field of view is a bit better. So I also figured something out to where I can get you guys integrated again, but tonight we'll go back to the normal way. All right, so let's see who we have in the show this evening. All right, first up, our first comment is around Flaming Skull 248. Flaming Skull 248, he says, hey, Ron, not sure if you remember me from a few months ago. You told me to dig out my lawn, so I did. Okay. But then you told me you were referring to weeds only. Yeah, I think I thought you were just joking. Then next up, you said, anyways, I want to let you know that I was able to locate some sod, and I recently planted 5 acres of Bermuda sod to fix the mistake I made. Hopefully you're having a good day and a good stream. Right. Okay. So you got 5 acres of Bermuda sod. Interesting. All right. Next up, we have Jackie Bear. He says, happy weekend, everyone. What's going on, Jackie Bear? Hopefully you're doing all right. And again, on the gram here, we got a lot of the usual folks coming in. So feel free to definitely ask your questions so you can be part of the show as well, or comments, whatever you want to chat about. All right, next up is Jake Pierre. Now, here's the thing, guys. Jake sent me pictures of his top dressing, we'll call it project, before the live stream, right? And if there were different levels here, and you guys ever play Street Fighter, there's like hyper fighting, there's like normal, hard, and I think there's like either like hyper or turbo or nightmare mode or whatever. There's like one mode that was really hard. So Jake's first time top dressing, he decided he's going to go hard mode. So he says, what's going on, Ron? I got the sand delivered to level on Tuesday, so this past Tuesday. We also got 2 inches of rain on Tuesday with more in the forecast. So he spread wet sand the best he could, and it worked out. So the only thing harder than top dressing is top dressing with wet material. It makes it so much harder because sand, when it's waterlogged, is really heavy to move around, really heavy to distribute. Really, it's even more difficult to work into the surface. But Jake was like, hey, I only had 1 day to be able to get this stuff out, as far as that goes. I was only able to borrow my buddy's trailer for a day, so had to make it work. So picture 1 is him dumping what I believe he said was 5 yards of sand. So 5 yards of material, looking good. And then next up, we have the top dressing. And again, yeah, that does look wet. You can tell it's a little bit more clumpy, and you can tell it was really raining because you look around him, like the I guess the cul-de-sac, you can see that's fully covered in water. So there's definitely a lot of rain coming down when the sand was delivered. Not deterred, he went ahead and still did his top dressing. So there's picture 1, picture 2, and I believe this last picture is after it stopped raining. You can see there's a little bit of recovery here because that's definitely heavier, and that's looking quite a bit better. So, even though it didn't, you didn't get to spread it as evenly as you may have liked, Jake, it worked in really nicely. I mean, given that you did it on Tuesday and we are Friday, that's pretty good. I would take that. As far as recovery, you are well on your way. That's looking good. So a week from now, should be in great shape. Lawn should come out really nicely. You'll be out there mowing again before you know it. So good stuff. Nice job. Way to make it work, even though it was not the ideal circumstances. You still went through with it, and I dig it. All right. Next up is Mr. Alex Ristano. Not Ristiano, not Ristano, Ristano. He's up next. He says, right or not, I figure I'm putting about 5 cubic feet per wheelbarrow load, so it means about 54 loads. How do you make sure you're dumping it evenly? So I think it's a question he was asking about his top dressing project. He says he got off work and he's leveling the lawn while listening. Sent a photo. This is my first time, so I'm a little nervous. 1 yard per 1,000 delivered. Trying to dump small piles mathematically so you don't run short. Well, let's see his picture, what he's working with here. He sent one before the live stream, and whoa, Alex, whoa, whatever, dude, bro, stop. There's a serious problem here. Stop. Don't keep going. Don't keep going. It's see, he can't see my face, so if he's listening to this, he's gonna be like, "What's going on?" He's gonna get his phone out and everything. It's looking good, Alex. Overall looking good, man. Not too heavy. Plenty of grass still exposed, and yeah, you're looking good. As far as what's your question, as far as like how mathematical or how many wheelbarrows to put out in a given area, really, it's dump the wheelbarrow out, spread it out, and then move over some and dump another wheelbarrow out. It's really not rocket science. Your leveling rake is going to do most of the work for you. So as far as, even if you put it down a little bit heavy in one area, as you use the leveling rake, it's going to move the material around and help it get distributed more evenly. I mean, you're not doing it like hard mode, like how Jake was doing it. Your sand appears to be dry and it appears to not be raining. So it's going to be an easier time for you. So don't overthink it. I mean, don't leave a pile, obviously, anywhere in the lawn, but looking at what you're doing so far, picture-wise, it looks pretty good. Again, I was just messing with you. Looks great. I would just keep going with what you're doing. No worries there. Keep it up. Looking good. Next up, we have our favorite LSU fan, although he has come around. We've gone back and forth quite a bit, and we see he has gone from the LSU logo to the SEC logo. We can we can now break bread, Kenny, because dogs are in the SEC, LSU somehow they're also in the SEC, and I appreciate the gesture. He says, "Happy Friday, everyone! Getting ready for a great show." Ron, I received my package yesterday. Got a kick out of the Go Dogs note with it. Someone wrote a Go Dogs note on something in your package. That seems weird. I don't know how that happened. I mean, here's the thing. Even the postmen and postwomen in Georgia, they're pretty adamant about making sure that folks recognize the Georgia Bulldogs. So who knows how that could happen? I'm not sure. And you said you've changed the profile picture just for me, though I couldn't justify putting a bulldog up there. It's okay. I mean, this is baby steps. This is you're moving in the right direction. So again, gesture noted. Really do appreciate it. And again, I'm glad you got a kick out of the note. And again, appreciate you coming in the live stream. Kenny also sent us a picture of his update. You got to remember, as an LSU fan, first he started out in the same live stream that the grass was 35% green, then 45% green, like 55% green. So I mean, just basically increasing yardage, just taking liberties. But on day 33, which is I think today, because you sent me the pictures today, this is what he's working with. And overall, that Monaco is looking good, man. I got to hand it to you. It's growing in really nicely. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture from a couple of weeks ago. It's not popping in here, but if you got one, Kenny, if you got one of the old ones that you can send to me, I will I'll show them where you were just last week. And overall, this looks really good. I mean, the color looks nice. Looks nice, and you can tell the lawn is filling in nicely. So whatever, all the work you did as far as the preparation for your seeding, it is working out really well, because that's going to look awesome. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a good stand of Bermuda. Looking good. Keep going. Next up, we got that guy in the live stream, Mr. Robert Rainey, saying, "Good evening, everyone. What's going on, Robert? Hopefully you're doing well." And then next up, we have our first question of the evening. This is our first one's going to be a little more taxing for me. From Mr. Fidip, he says, "What is the ideal height of cut to get maximum stripe visibility when cutting Bermuda grass with a reel mower?" It's a good question, Fidip. I don't know if there really is a ideal, like the height, an ideal maximum. Because you can stripe Bermuda, at 1.5 inches if you wanted to. But if you're given that you're reel mowing, I find that 3/4 of an inch, between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch, is the sweet spot for preserving a lot of color in the lawn, for the stripes looking really nice, to where you can have that golf course fairway look without mowing so frequently that real mowing starts to ruin your life, right? So we have to plan family vacations and this kind of thing around your ability to mow. So between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch is where I would want to be. I've gotten some questions, and it's funny. I mean, he didn't actually believe it, but he said, "Hey man, I think your lawn is like a green screen, so we need to see you actually touch it to make sure it's not fake." So this also plays into your question about height of cut, and this was from earlier. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday I did this video. We're showing the lawn, and then I will pause here in a second. You'll be able to see what the height of cut looks like. So we will pause right there. There. Okay. So the bench height of my Greensmaster, I checked it today because I had a question from someone about using an AccuGauge. I said, you know what, let me go out and just double check, just verify the heights of my equipment. I haven't, ever since the start of the season, I've been running them. Let me just go and make sure everything is where it should be. And overall, everything was. The height on the Greensmaster, if you want to be super picky, on the left side of the mower, it is 0.627. And on the right side, it is 0.629. So it's like 2 thou difference between the two. Again, negligible. We'll call that good. So the Greensmaster said it for all intents and purposes at 5/8. The Owlet is set at 0.71. So just under 3/4 of an inch. And they cut about the same height because the weight of the Owlet is so much heavier than that Greensmaster that when it's on the turf, it sinks down quite a bit more. But again, to show you guys like what I'm working with here, you can see the appearance of the turf. The color looks really good. The stripes look good. And this is between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch. So you can see that yourself. And that's what I'm working with as far as height of cut. Lawn stays nice and green between mowings. And I could mow that every 2 days if I wanted to. I mowed it today before the live stream because I just felt like it because I didn't have anything else to do. So I went out and mowed the lawn. But I mean, really at this time of year, I can still get by with mowing every 2 days When we get into mid-June, so like another 15 days or so, I'll get on every other day mowing, just to keep it nice, keep it looking good. But yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea, 5 dip as far as ideal height of cut. Again, I think 5/8 to 3/4 of an inch is good for a number of reasons: color, stripe action, mowing requirements, that type of thing. And the thing that also helps is use growth regulator. If you can incorporate a growth regulator program into what you're doing, if you're going to be row mowing and you want to keep the color as good as possible and reduce the risk of scalping and this type of thing from excess growth. So hope that helps, sir. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know. It's a good one. All right, next up we have fresh apples. He says, what is the best way to apply granular? What is the best path to use, and how fast should I be walking? The best way to apply granular product is using a broadcast spreader. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, so I'll just kind of go through the basics. You use a broadcast spreader to apply it. That's going to produce a more even distribution of the product versus using like a hand spreader. And then as far as your tracks, I've seen a couple different ways of people do it, but some say you want to throw like the edges of a pass, you want those to be just barely landing where the previous tire tracks were. So with my Earthway, I'm about 6 to 7 feet apart as far as whenever my pass is back and forth. And that works well for me. And all you do is you just make your passes. You go down, top, move over 6 to 8 feet, somewhere in there, depending on the spreader you're using, and then walk parallel. So you walk in parallel lines. You want to walk at a brisk pace. So don't like a Sunday stroll while you're out there putting the product out. You want to like be walking with purpose, almost like you're power walking. So that's what I would say as far as pace goes. And then that's it. I mean, water the product in and you're good to go. So just your normal walking pace, but a little bit faster is what I would say. So just put a little more emphasis in it when you are walking fresh apples, and that should work well for you. All right. So next up we have we got another Tigers fan. We are not going to do that. Let's see here. He says, by the way, Ron, I called the company that recommended 8 ounces per 1,000 of iron, which burn the lawn. They said they never tested it on Bermuda. Seems 3 ounces is a safer rate. Yeah, I mean, 8 ounces per 1,000 for iron sounded like a lot to me. But I know the product you were talking about, and they said, yeah, 3 ounces is better. I'll give you an example. The new micronutrient that we're coming out with, which is replacing Nutrizol, like at the highest rate that I've ever used Nutrizol at really is 6 ounces per 1,000, and that doesn't really cause any negative issues. If I'm mixing it with like say the 22-3 fertilizer, which formerly known as Turflex that we also carry, I back that down to 3 ounces. And even now, when I've been testing it from like last year to now, I do the same thing you're doing. So 3 ounces per 1,000 with the micronutrient is what I've gotten great results with. The label will say you can start at 6 and go up, but I've been spraying it at 3 ounces per 1,000, and it works great. Works absolutely great and produces a good result. So yeah, it's odd they didn't test it on Bermuda grass. It's a pretty common grass within the country, so I'm not sure why they left out Bermuda, but hey, I guess that's just how they were raised. I don't know. Robert Thomas is up next. He says, happy Friday, Ron, and all. Nothing going on this weekend, but next is going to be busy with the second pre-emergent fungicide app and growth regulator apps. Planning on getting down Hydrochain I purchased from you when it comes in. Nice. Sounds like a fun plan, Robert. Sounds like a good time. And then next up, we got Colin. Mr. C. Pims is in the house. He says, what's up, Ron? Hopefully your Friday has been well. Tuning in for some good lawn care talk as well as watching some baseball. Yeah, man. So Colin also sent some pictures of his lawn, so we'll show that to you guys as well. You guys remember, he has the Paspalum lawn, and this is where he was before. This is when the sod was first laid down, and this is where he is today. So from that to that, and then another area there he wanted to show how the sod is growing in. So the color looks great, man. It's growing in really nicely. But again, compared to where you were when you put the sod down and then to where you are now, you can still barely make out the lines for the individual pieces, but overall that looks really good. That points to all your hard work, the preparation you put into it, because it looks great. The lawn's gonna look awesome when you're done. And again, maybe a light top dress once it's you start mowing it, and you should be Should be good to go. Should be good to go, man. Very nice. All right, next up we have Brett Hill. He says, hey, Ron, 2 questions. But let's go backpack sprayer, and I'm trying to start spraying myself versus a lawn company I use. I've only used Granular myself. Any tips for getting started? You know what, Brett? This is a perfect segue into the segment that I want to talk about tonight as far as using a sprayer to get good results. Now, first of all, question you often have, people often have, is why even consider using like a backpack sprayer? Why use liquids in your lawn care program? For one, you tend to get more coverage per dollar spent with liquids from a time-saving perspective, meaning the ability to apply several different products at the same time. So in my case, if you guys ever watched any of the shorts I've been doing here lately, when I'm spraying my lawn, I'm doing the carbon kit, which consists of 3 products: 901C, NutriCalc, BioSpectrum. I also put growth regulator in the tank. These days, it's both a new EZ and Primo Max, and also a micronutrient, a little bit of an iron kicker, right? So that's a lot of different stuff that if you were doing all that with Granular, it would be it's just not efficient, right? It's not efficient. And as far as uptake with liquids, you're going to spray the lawn, and within 2 days, 3 days, you're going to see a nice response in color and growth in the lawn. So liquids just work a lot faster. So when it comes to getting a new sprayer or using any sprayer, first thing I want to say about when it comes to selecting a sprayer is it really is the Indian more than the arrow. So while there are very different types of sprayers, lots of people make them, tons of different brands. As long as your sprayer is properly calibrated, then you can get a good result with it. So everything from like a pump sprayer to a battery powered sprayer like I use, the big thing is to ensure that your sprayer is calibrated. So what do I mean by that? When you talk about sprayer calibration, what I'm referring to is the walking pace that you need to have to put out a gallon of product over 1,000 square feet. So whenever you're spraying liquids on your lawn, you have the liquid product, so maybe fertilizer or growth regulator, and you mix water with that. So water acts as like the carrier to deliver whatever you're spraying to the grass, right? And the labels for most products recommend a dilution rate of 1 gallon over 1,000 square feet. Now you can go up on that some, you can go down on that some, but most of them call for 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet, and that's a good rate to go with, a good dilution rate to go with, because it produces pretty good coverage over 1,000 square foot area, which is a 50 by 20 foot section of your lawn. So it saves you time, right? Because if you go with a heavier dilution rate, say you're spraying 2 gallons per 1,000, then you've got to do twice as many fill-ups if you have a large lawn. So it's just increasing the amount of time that you have to go out there and spend the lawn. And also, if you're spraying liquids, depending on the kind of liquid that you're spraying, more water isn't necessarily better. So let's get started. So the thing you want to know is, if you're going to be spraying liquids on your lawn, you have a sprayer, which is thing one. Next, the first thing you want to do is calibrate the sprayer, which is, again, for the given spray tip you're using. I got a couple here that I'm going to show tonight. You want to know how long it takes your sprayer to put out a gallon of product mix. So I've got a video here that I did a few years ago on calibrating your sprayer. Now, there's a couple different ways of doing this. The reason why I like this method I show in here is that it just saves time, right? Some people will say, just take a sprayer and put in a 1 gallon pitcher and run it until it gets to the 1 gallon mark, and then stop and then time it. The problem with that is most sprayers take between 90 seconds to 2 minutes to spray a gallon of water, thereabouts. So one, it takes a lot longer. And then second, whenever you're running the sprayer flat out, so say this is my gallon pitcher. This is not a gallon, but say it is, right? So you got the nozzle in there, you're spraying, you're running water up to, running the water to get up to a gallon. The water isn't going up like nice and smoothly. Like it's moving around. Like there's it's like a little maelstrom in here. So knowing when you get to exactly a gallon and stopping can prove to be difficult. So for that reason, the way that I do it, which has you spray for 15 seconds, you measure the amount of liquid that's in the container, then you divide 128, which is the number of ounces in a gallon, by that amount of liquid, and the number that comes out there is going to be some weird number. It'll normally be between 5 and 7, depending on the pressure of your sprayer. And then that number represents how many 15-second increments there are to get to spray a gallon of water, right? So you're able to run the test and repeat it a couple of different times in the time it would take you to sit there with a sprayer and run a gallon full. So it makes sense once I actually demonstrate it in this video. So I'll send that to you first of all, Brett. So for any of you guys that are watching, I'll actually link it down here. So everyone will be able to benefit from it if you're not on YouTube. So sprayer calibration video. There we go. That's the video. So that's one way of doing it. If you don't like my method, do it the way you want to do it, but that way absolutely works. So just take it for what it's worth. So next up, so we've got our sprayer calibrated. So now we know how long it takes our sprayer to put out 1 gallon of product mix. So we're awesome. That literally, that's really the hardest part. If you get that part right, and you know what your walking pace needs to be to put out, to cover 1,000 square feet in whatever time that happens to be, you're like 90% the way there. The next thing we got to figure out is like how big is your lawn? Meaning how big of an area are you spraying in total? So if we're using a dilution rate of 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet, if you got a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, that sprayer will cover like 4,000 square feet in a tank full, right? So knowing how much, how big of an area you're covering is important. If you have a smaller lawn, so say you have a 2,500 square foot or whatever it happens to be, then you would adjust the amount of water and also the amount of product going into the sprayer accordingly. So there's tons of tools you can use online for doing this. If you go to Google and just say like measure my lawn, I think there's actually a website called Measure My Lawn, but there's several different ones. Google has one themselves. And the way these tools work is they'll have you drawing waypoints on your lawn. Like you put your address in, it'll give you a satellite view and you'll draw waypoints on your property and it'll say, hey, your lawn is approximately this size. Or you can get a measuring tape out and measure it yourself. But the online tools do a pretty good job. They get you pretty close. So now we know that our sprayer is calibrated. We know the size of our lawn. Now we are ready to start looking at product labels, right? So when you read the labels for spraying liquid products, you will see the application rate. A lot of times they're not going to say, this many gallons over 1,000 square feet. Remember, gallons over 1,000 square feet is really the dilution rate. What the label will say is something like this many fluid ounces of the product over 1,000 square feet. So for example, you take Primo Max, right? The rate for Primo on Bermuda, on hybrid Bermuda, is 1/4 ounce per 1,000 square feet over the course of a month, right? So 0.25 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So if we say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do the spoon feeding program. I'm only going to spray my lawn once a month. What you would do is you would take that 0.25 fluid ounces, you put it in 1 gallon of water, and you spray that over 1,000 square feet, and you have just sprayed Primo Max at the label rate that is correct for spraying it once a month, right? So the labels will specify amount of product over 1,000 square feet, and a lot of them, most of them will have will specify the amount of fluid or amount of product per 1,000 square feet. Some products will say per acre, and you're thinking to yourself, good Lord, I don't have an acre and my lawn isn't that big. How can I go from acre to 1,000 square feet? All you would do is take whatever that number is. So say that it's 2 ounces per acre or 3 ounces per acre. You would take the per acre rate and divide it by 43.5s because there's 43,560 square feet in an acre. So if the rate on the bottle is given in acres and not square feet, it's a simple conversion. Simply take whatever that number is, divide it by 43 and a half and 43.5, and that's going to give you the your application rate, the amount of product per 1,000 square feet. So some products, like you take for example Pillar SC, they make it really nice. If you look at this bottle, hopefully I can get this to focus. I can show you right here. So this bottle of Pillar SC, if you look there, it says it is 43.5 fluid ounces, meaning this one bottle will cover an acre. So the dilution rate for something like Pillar SC, as you can guess, if you guys can't answer, but if we were guessing, right, this covers 43,500 square feet. It covers an acre. That's how much fluid's in here. So we would guess the rate is 1 ounce, right? 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet is what Pillar goes down at. So this product makes it easy, but I mean others, it's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be like 1 ounce of the product. So read the label, whatever it says, take that amount and dilute it in a gallon of water and spray that over 1,000 square feet. Now, if you're spraying, let's say we'll make the math easy. Say you're covering, say, a 4,000 square foot lawn. So you're going to be filling up your backpack sprayer the entire time. So you want 4 gallons of product mix. The way that I would recommend going about that is when you have your sprayer, fill it, halfway to 3/4 full with just water. Then add the products that you're going to be spraying, put the cap on, and then give it a good shake. Get it suspended. With me, I count to like 20 or 30, depending on how I'm feeling that day. But I put the cap on and I shake it. And I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, like all the way up to 20 or 30, somewhere in between there. And that gets that nicely suspended. Then you can add the rest of the water and give it another shake, and you're good to go out and spray your lawn. The only thing that's really left now is spray tip selection, right? So depending on the product you're spraying, the type of spray tip you want to use will change, right? So for products like Primo Max, like plant growth regulator, like liquid fertilizers, like the golf course lawn carbon kit, for post-emergent herbicides like Celsius, pretty much anything that's not soil-based, where it's designed to be sprayed on the leaf of the plant and dry. What you want is a fine droplet spray tip. So you can almost think of it like, whenever you're putting sunscreen on, like the nozzle that when you're spraying sunscreen, it doesn't put out like a really like big droplets. It's almost like a mist. It's very fine droplets, right? Because that makes it easier for you to get nice even coverage on your skin, and you can work it in, and that produces a good result. So it's the same process. That's the same way to think about it whenever you are spraying or doing foliar sprays, so spraying products that are designed to dry on the leaf of the plant, that you want a fine droplet because we want to coat as much of that leaf as possible, get a nice even coverage, but not wet the plant to the point of runoff to where we are, we're basically wasting product. So for foliar products, which again, most of your post-emergent herbicides are going to be that, if all in this category, your plant growth regulator like Primo or a new EZ, your herbicides and liquid fertilizers, all of those are going to, for the most part, are going to be foliar sprays unless the label says otherwise. Now, if you're spraying pre-emergent insecticide or fungicide, pre-emergent for sure, most insecticides and fungicides are designed to get into the soil to work. So in that case, they benefit from a larger droplet size. So a spray tip that looks like this. So you can see that there's like a notch here. So whenever this is running, it's going to produce much larger droplets, which that larger droplet is going to do a better job getting past the canopy and getting into the soil where it can work. So for soil-based product applications, insecticide, fungicide, pre-emergent, liquid fertilizers that are designed to be watered in, like that would apply to those as well. You want to use a spray tip that looks like this, like a flood jet tip, a larger droplet spray tip. The one that lives on my sprayer the majority of the time, majority of the season, is a foliar spray tip, which is this guy, the one I was telling you guys. So if I'm spraying my growth regulator or liquid fertilizer, or heaven forbid herbicides, so I got weeds in my lawn, then this is the one that I would use. So that's in a nutshell, Brian. Hopefully this gives you some pretty good tips as far as getting started. The big thing is, again, when it comes to sprayers, it's the Indian, not the arrow. There's tons of different types of sprayers. If you ensure that your sprayer is properly calibrated, and what I would recommend is this, right? So when you go through the calibration process, so that video I just linked to you, when you want to actually test your walking speed, right? What I would do is I would put 2 gallons of water in the spray tank. 2 gallons of water in the spray tank. The reason for it is this, right? If you only put a gallon in there, when you get towards the end, the pump is gonna cavitate. It's gonna start sucking air, and you're not gonna be able to. It's not gonna work well. So what you do is you put 2 gallons in the spray tank, measure out a 20 by 50 foot section of the lawn, and because you know now from your sprayer calibration video that it's gonna take you, let's say, 1 minute and 30 seconds, right, to walk 1,000 square feet. So you got 2 gallons in the tank. So we're gonna get our stopwatch out, hit it, start walking at a normal pace, walk it, make our passes back and forth over that 20 by 50 foot section of the lawn, and then stop the timer and said, okay, I got close to, I finished walking that area. I'm at the time that I should be. And if you want to double check it, what you could do is you could take what's left in the spray tank and pour that back into like a pitcher, and it should be about a gallon. You see what I'm saying? So there's a couple ways to double check your work, but start with water. The first time you're you're trying to just figure out what your walking pace is, it's better to not go like loaded for bear with like herbicides or something that could potentially damage the lawn in the tank. Just go with just straight water just to learn what the walking pace needs to feel like. And once you get that figured out, you're on your way. You never really have to do that again. So hopefully that helps her as far as getting a good result with spraying liquids on your lawn. I highly recommend that if you guys are on the fence about giving it a shot, to consider incorporating liquids into your program, because it opens up a world of products. Like, there's a lot of products that are really only available in liquids. And as far as just time saving and being able to play with your program really easily, as far as like saying, if I add a little bit more micronutrient, what do I get? If I reduce the rate on this, how does the lawn respond? You're able to go through it and easily test things when you're using liquids versus if you stick to a granular only program. And what I do is a mixture. I do a mixture of granular and liquids in a spoon feeding program. If you're interested in learning more about that, this blog post covers what I do, like the products that I use, and gives you like application rates and that kind of stuff. It is free to read. It doesn't cost anything. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to check that out. So yeah, I'm sure you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll work through them as we go through the show. But that's the section that I wanted to cover on spraying liquids, because I get a lot of different questions on this weekly. And probably the biggest question I get is, how many gallons of product do I need to spray over 1,000 square feet? I'm like, no. You're thinking about it wrong. First of all, I'm trying to think if there's any products where the application rate is a gallon per 1,000. That'd be a lot. Think of the water, the gallon, as the carrier. All it is the delivery system for the product. And you want to start using the terms that are on the label. So X fluid ounces, or whatever fluid ounces the label specifies of product over 1,000 square feet. I'm going to mix that amount of product in a gallon of water and spray it over 1,000. But the water, the gallon of water is not the important thing to focus on. It's the rate that's on the label, because that's when you're going to be able to take that rate and multiply it if you're spraying more than 1,000 square feet at a time, or back it off if you're spraying. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give you more control over doing your mixture correctly. And with practice, you'll get better at it. So hope that helps her. Congrats on the new equipment. We can clap it up for that. It's a sprayer, not a mower, but it's okay. We can still give you some DAP. Congrats. And again, just take your time, have fun with it. It's one of the, you'll really enjoy it. It's one of the best things you can do for your lawn care program, as far as just giving you options. All right, so we got a couple things here. Let me go down and first of all, let's see. I will first answer this question from Lizzie Law. Says, "Hey Ron and everyone, thanks for sending Essential G and Carbonized PN quickly. We aim to ship quickly, so glad to hear that the team is doing a good job. I'm going to place geozoysia sod in shaded areas. In what order should I put down the Mirimichi products?" Yeah, so it's a good question. If you were going to by the way, this is Phyllis from San Antonio, Texas. Smash the like button. Hey, Phyllis. Yeah, so as far as if you are going to use the Essential G or Carbonized PN as part of a sod project, as far as renovation, you're going to have the area already prepared. So you're going to be mostly, I would hope at this point, dealing with bare dirt. And you're going to apply the Carbonized PN or Essential G, or both. You could do both of them if you want. It's really not going to hurt anything. You can apply that prior to putting the sod down. So you have bare dirt, Essential G and Carbonized PN, and then sod. So it's almost you're almost like sandwiching the Carbonized PN and or Essential G in between the sod and the soil. That's going to help the new sod root in really well. So yeah, there's not really a lot of rocket science. You just want to make sure you spread it evenly as you can, and then yeah, sandwich it in between the sod and the dirt, and lay your sod down. You're good to go. If you're putting out a fertilizer, if you were going to do that at the same time, that would be the time to do it. So same thing, dirt, Essential G, Carbonized PN, a starter fertilizer like our 14714 if you were looking for something, and then sod on top of it, and then water it in and wait. And that's going to produce a really good result for you, Phyllis. So appreciate that. Sounds like a fun project. Take pictures of it. Let us know how it works out. And it sounds like a good time. We got Offered NV saying, "Just watching some college baseball. The grass is always on point at Oklahoma State. Happy Friday." Thanks for that, Offered NV. All right, cool. So let's get in here now and grab some super chats. I'm behind. I don't want to, get the ire of the folks that are monetarily supporting the channel. So let's do that really quick. So we got Brian Hill, first of all.
Super chat received.
He says, hello, Ron. Should I apply hydrochain before or after top dressing the lawn? I would do it before. Reason being, hydrochain needs to get into the root zone or get near the root zone to really work well, Brian. If you think about it, you've got the existing grass and soil. With top dressing, you're going to be applying more soil on top of that, and it's just more for the hydrochain to have to get past. So for me, I would apply the hydrochain and then apply the hydrochain. If it's liquid, water that in properly, and then top dress on top of it. So hopefully that makes sense, right? Because you wouldn't want to lay even more dirt to have to for the hydrochain to have to work through. So hydrochain first, then top dress, and you should be good to go. So thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. We got Shortgrass Living up next. He says, hey, Ron, sent you an email with a picture of how the yard is starting out. Ordered 67 pallets of Tahoma 31. And my question is, would you change anything how you manage your yard with about 30,000 square feet product-wise and applications? What would I change? Would I change anything if I had like almost triple what I have now? Not really. I would still use granulars once per month, and I would use liquids every 2 weeks. I mean, I'll be using more of it, but yeah, I mean, I really like the results that I get out of my program, so I'd want to stick with that. I mean, that's the part of it, right? Is this right? So having a really big lawn or having a big lawn that is cared for sounds like a lot of fun. But remember, if you're trying to keep it all looking nice, in other words, if I had 30,000 square feet, I would want it all to look like that. If I'm going to be real mowing it, I want it to look like how that looks. And the question I need to ask myself is, one, can I afford to do that? Because it's going to take more in product for sure. And then also more in time. Do I have the desire to take care of that much space? And if so, then I would stick with the program that I have now. I really like the results I'm getting with it. So I don't really see a need to change too much. And if you are who I think you are, you did send me a picture, I think. I got a picture of, no, you're a different person. So I did get a picture of Tahoma 31. And if you want to see what you can, this is from a different viewer. If you want to see what you can expect from a color standpoint, Shortgrass Living, from Tahoma 31 to 419. This picture is from a viewer. I believe he's in the Golf Course Lawn Academy. So he sent this. So if you look at this house, right, the grass that is nearest to us, that is really nice and bright green and vibrant and dominating like crazy, that is Tahoma 31. If you look in the background, so you see like the mailbox down the street and you see the green grass there, that's 419. So you can see the difference, the color difference between the Tahoma 31 and the Tifway 419 this time of year. Now, granted, I mean, I believe this person was in Oklahoma. So, they're starting to get some temperature now. So I imagine the Tifway 419 is going to start catching up and start looking a lot better. But if you were ever wondering, like from a cold tolerance perspective or like of what, how much faster Tahoma 31 lights off and starts looking really good, this picture is really nice. And that you can see the Tahoma 31 in the foreground, the Tifway in the background, again, the light green that you see in the background. And it's the difference is pretty apparent given that they're both Bermuda grass, right? So very cool, man. It sounds like a fun project. And you did send me a picture. I can see if I can get it on the live stream here. You sent one, and you said it is 30. What do you say you're working with? 30,000 square feet. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. And here you go. Yeah, that's a big area. That is a big space. You're planning on burning all that down. I guess you're gonna kill all that off and then put out Tahoma 31. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds like a good time. Should look awesome when it's done. Another thing to keep in mind, Shortgrass Living, is if you decide to sod 30,000 square feet, you're gonna have to also. I mean, I imagine you're gonna top dress it at some point if you're real mowing. So just think, 30,000 square feet. So that's not 2/3 of an acre. I mean, you're getting closer. You're getting up there in square footage. Like everything costs more, not just your applications. If you decide to top dress it, it's a whole lot more material. So just something to keep in mind. And again, thanks for the picture. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for the love and support. Next up, we got Mr. Luis Ayabareño. He's in the live stream.
Super chat received.
He says, Ron, nervous about it, thinking of killing off the lawn and starting over with top cultivars. Babied with good products, Stresses easy with mow and not the greatest color I want. Man, you just talking all kinds of noise about your lawn. You just tell it's just wow, man, just savage, Luis. He says, it's not the greatest color that you want. I overseeded with good seed last season. Continue to seed with cultivars or start over. Thoughts? It depends on you. It depends on you. It's the difference. The thing you have to be willing to tolerate if you start introducing different cultivars is color differences and growth differences, right? So different cultivars grow at different rates, and then the color can be different. So what you may end up with is a lawn where some parts are darker green if the cultivar that you're going to is darker in color. So depending on how much that bugs you, that could be consideration. But also, I mean, also think about family and everything. Like, if you decide you're gonna kill off the lawn, it's all like dead and scorched earth. Is wifey gonna be pretty upset about that? So she may or may not. Maybe I don't know. I'm just saying, just consider it. If it were me, in other words, if it were me, knowing what I know now, if I really dislike my grass that much to where I just fed up and I just can't leave well enough alone, and I want to start over, I would do a renovation. I really would, because having lived through even just different sod, like Tifway 419 sod that was different from what the sod that was in my lawn originally, and the color differences between that, like I wouldn't want to deal with that by using a bunch of different grass seeds. So for me, I would take the renovation approach. But again, that's me, right? If I do it, I don't really care if the lawn looks bad for a while. And honestly, I would burn it all down, and then I would sod it. I wouldn't do it from grass seed. I would do like Tahoma 31, like a lot of you guys are doing. So something to consider. Again, your lawn looks really good. It looked good to me last time I saw it. The pictures that you sent, the color looks great. But if you want to renovate, I get it. If it were me, I would do the full renovation. That way because if you do that, you get the full benefits, right? You're not really seeing your old lawn mixed in with your new lawn, which again is gonna drive you crazy. So if you're going to go through all this headache, you may as well go all the way. There's no reason to to go halfway about it. Then you'll be like, oh, look, the really dark parts of my lawn that are green and look amazing and don't get damaged during drought are the parts that I overseeded. And over here is dying off and looking not that great. It's the old lawn. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to frustrate you even more than what you currently have. It would me. So just something to consider. And thank you so much for the super chat. Of the three that we just got here, you are the highest, sir. So that makes you our show sponsor. So there you go. Your name in lights, whatever that means to you. Again, Brian and Shortgrass Living, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. And hopefully that gives you some guidance and sets you on your way, Luis. Let me know which way you decide to go. All right, so guys and gals, if you guys are appreciating the show and having some fun with it, feel free to hit that like button. It costs absolutely nothing. It's a free way to support the channel. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, I would really, really, really appreciate it. Sends good vibes to YouTube, gets them coming our way, and overall is just a good thing. Makes me happy. Kenny, if you guys want to see how quickly, so as far as Bermuda this time of year, how quickly it begins growing, Kenny sent me a picture of his lawn from last week. So this was last week, and you can see how from last week to this week, how it looks. It's a pretty big difference, especially if you look over there near where like the power and cable boxes are, like little the covers for them in the background. If you look at that section now and then look at it here, you can see how it's filled in quite nicely. So nice work, Kenny. Keep going. Lawn looks great. All right. Next up, we have Brett again. He says, I just redid my backyard with Xenon Zoysia. When should I start putting products down? I'm not sure what's your question. Yeah. So as far as when you can start applying products, Brett, once you're actually walking in the lawn, you're mowing it. If you want to start, introducing fertilizer, like spraying liquids on it, then that'd be fine. So I would want to wait until you're out there mowing it before you start doing that. All right, next up, and we have the dude says, Ron, are there any drawbacks to spraying on dye when spraying fungicide, insecticide, or fertilizers and nutrients? None that I'm aware of. There are a small number of products that will tell you not to add anything with them, like don't even add dye to the tank. That's a very small number. If that's the case, then I wouldn't do it. But as far as drawbacks, Not really. I mean, if you like the sidewalks areas will be a little bit blue if you get any on there for a few days while it dissipates. The color of the lawn will obviously change a little bit for a couple of days, but no, not really. It helps with getting more even coverage, especially if you're someone that's new to spraying. So no, unless the label says not to use dye, not a whole lot of negatives to doing so. So great question. Hope that helps. Next up, we got Kenny Cadell. Let me make sure I haven't missed anyone here. I did not on the ground. We are good. All right, we got Kenny Cadell, my favorite LSU fan, slowly converting to Georgia. He says, Ron, what are your thoughts on getting an older reel mower, like a John Deere 220A as a first powered reel mower? If it's in good shape, I don't have any issue with it at all. I mean, my mower is a 2014. It's a 10-year-old. My mower is 10 years old as of this year and still runs great. Starts on the first pull, runs great, cuts great. You got to remember, like these mowers are designed to rerun hard on golf courses every day. Like they're truly commercial pieces of equipment. So what we do on our lawns, running them a few times a week, is really not doing a whole lot. The big thing is you want to make sure it's in good shape. So make sure the reel is in good shape, bed knife's in good shape. You know, as far as obviously if the engine starts, make sure. I'm not familiar with the 220. If it's belt driven, make sure that those are in reasonable condition. The big thing is what you don't want to do is go buy one and then find out that the reel and bed knife are trash and you have to go do that, because that's from personal experience. I can tell you, even with a discount, you're looking at close to $1,000 if you have like an authorized John Deere like dealer change or change a reel in a mower for you, because it's going to be reel, bed knife, bearings, and then of course their time to do all that, right? So something to keep in mind. If it's in good shape, I wouldn't have any reservations at all with it. Again, you know, a brand new mower is nice, but a brand new reel mower, like a brand new like Greensmaster or John Deere, I mean, if you have the money for one, sure, but I mean, it's not like you are going to cut wise, the 220 is not going to do a great job. Again, as long as it's in great shape, it's set up properly, you're going to get a great result cutting it. And that's one of the nicest things with greens mowers. You know, it's funny. You look at like even like my Owlet and also the help me out here, the Revolution, right? Both those mowers are great mowers. As far as being able to dial in your height of cut like dead nuts and really be able to lock that in, like that's something that greens mowers give you that really no other mower does quite as well. Mainly because it's kind of a tedious process, right? Like you're literally you're loosening it like the lock nuts, and you're turning like a jack screw to move to set the height of cut precisely, and then you're locking it in. So really, it's just not going to go anywhere. Unlike mechanisms that are easier to adjust, where like with the Owlet, there's like a detent system to each. I think each turn is like 2/10 or something like that. I forget exactly. Don't quote me on that. To where each side is adjustable independently, but it's a fixed amount it's moving each time. Or like the Sterling or the Revolution, where you have a single dial on one side and the mechanism raises or lowers the height of cut. So what you gain in precision with greens mowers, you lose convenience. So it just depends on you as far as how picky you are, how how important is getting the cut dialed in as good as possible, what that really means to you. Because there are some as far as just using one, they are more there's more involved in just changing the height of cut. If they break, this is another thing, they're a lot more expensive to work on and fix than some of the less expensive mowers. So, but again, if you get the one you're getting is in good shape, I really wouldn't let that dissuade me, man. I mean, as long as you don't run over concrete or mow rocks or do anything silly with it like I did with mine, it's going to run for a long time. You're not really going to have a lot of problems with it. All right, Phyllis is in the house. She says, happy Friday, Ron and lawn connoisseurs. Thanks for my shipments of Essential G and Carbonized PN to add to my Geozoysia to my poorly shaded Bermuda lawn. Thanks for all you do. Smash that like button. Thanks so much, Phyllis. I really appreciate it. Glad to hear that everything made it to you safe and sound and quickly. All right, we have a question here from Instagram. This one is from B. Solis. He says, can you apply fungicide and insecticide at the same time and then come back and lay fertilizer? You can. So if you are If you're talking about liquid fungicide and insecticide, you can literally mix them and spray them at the same time. So for example, you could spray, one thing I've done, I've sprayed, where is it? Pillar SC, which is a fungicide, and then a Celiprin SC, which is an insecticide. I've mixed these two and sprayed them at the same time on the lawn, so it saves time. You can absolutely do that. The only thing I would change what you're suggest in your sequencing is I would do the fertilizer first. So if you're going to be putting out liquid fungicide and insecticide and then a granular fertilizer, I would do the granular fertilizer first and then spray the fungicide and insecticide last. So that way you're not walking around in a lawn that you just sprayed fungicide and insecticide on. That's thing one. And then also because you'll be applying the fertilizer to a dry lawn then, because if you think about it, if you spray it, it's going to be wet, and then you go put fertilizer on it. There's chances of the prill getting stuck to the leaf, potential for burning, all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of reasons to do the granular first when the lawn is completely dry, and then follow up with your fungicide and insecticide apps afterwards. So yeah, you can absolutely do it. I would just flip your sequencing frequency. And you said, and as far as granular, if they're both the same, yeah, here's the thing. If all the products are granulars, you have granular insecticide. So say you're doing Headway G, Acelyprin G, and Humic Max, right? You can't do Acelyprin G and Headway G at the same time. So the way it would be is this: you go and put out Humic Max, so 1608, your fertilizer first, and then just pick either fungicide or insecticide, put out Headway next, and then do Acelyprin next, and then water it all in. So I would not put two granular products in the hopper at the same time, because the differences in prill, you're just unlikely to get a good result. Don't do that. So you'd apply them one after another, starting with the fertilizer and then finishing up with the sides. So your insecticide and then fungicide, and then water it in. So hope that helps. Good question. I like it. It's a good one. It's a good question. So, but again, that's another reason why liquids would be good. Saves you a lot of time. You can do both those guys together. You're not walking the entire lawn 2 times or an extra time to put out the granulars together. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's another consideration. B Solus. All right. Next up, we have Tom V. Tom V's in the house. He says, hey, Ron, I picked up a new Echo Spreader RB60. We will clap it up for that. When I apply product with a small prill size, it gets used up faster than anticipated, even set to the smallest setting. Think each pass is too close? Quite possibly, yeah, because that's a mistake you can make, Tom, is, because if you're using, say, any of the greens grade fertilizers, like the prill is so small that it's kind of difficult to see how far it's being thrown. So what I would say is if the setting is correct on your spreader, anywhere between 6 to 8 feet apart in your tire tracks is a good starting point as far as that goes. If you're walking much closer than that, then that would explain why you're using up too much product and not covering enough area. Could also be your walking pace too. You definitely want to put some aggression in there. Definitely, think like a power walk when you're putting out fertilizer when using a granular spreader. So just play with it. I mean, if you can also, if you also need to lower the settings slightly on the Echo, you can do that too. That's also an option as well. So there's a couple of different options. Increase the width, assuming you're walking too close together. Walk faster, or slightly reduce the setting on the spreader. And between 1 or 2 of those, you should start getting a better result. Okay, next up we have a question from Blasey Malinois. He says, hey Ron, can you use your new PGR combination on sod or fresh plugs? I have Zoysia in Dallas-Fort Worth. Cheers. Yes, you can use it on sod. Could use it on plugs as well too. Yeah, I mean, but in most cases you want like plugs to grow, right? So I don't know that you really want to be suppressing the growth of an area you're plugging, but if you like put new sod in, you're mowing the lawn, you want to start using growth regulator. In other words, if your lawn looks like how Colin's lawn looks, so say you started, let me see here. You started here and now you're here and you're starting to mow it. If you want to start introducing growth regulator at that point, no issues with that at all. So yeah. And as far as the combination he's talking about, you're referring to, let me get this wrong camera, referring to Primo Max and a new EZ. So I'm using both these together at the same time and really, really like the results. There's a video that I published a couple weeks ago that cover that. So if you guys are interested, I can link it in the chat. But to answer your question, yes, you can, Blousy. I don't know that I would do it on fresh plugs if your goal is using the plugs to spread out in that area. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I don't want to suppress the growth of those too much. But if you're mowing the area and you want to use growth regulator, that's fine. But I would not, I wouldn't put a brand new plug in, like install it and then go spray growth regulator on it right away. Like that, I think you're kind of working against yourself. You want it to grow. You know what I mean? So give that a go, give that a shot, and let me know how you get on. But yes, you can absolutely spread. You can use it on a relatively newly sodded lawn. And as far as that video I'm talking about on the growth regulator combination, like rates and everything for Bermuda grass, obviously you have different grass. Read the label and adjust accordingly. This is what he is referring to. This one right here. So, all right. That video is PGR combo. All right. Okay, next up we have Tom V. He says, how can I figure out how far the fertilizer is getting thrown? So here's a trick you can use, Tom. Go on your driveway. Go on a driveway, like a big open area, and just make one pass, and then you can sweep up what you threw out and throw it back in the hopper, or blow it off, or blow it into the lawn. That's an easy way to visually see how far or how wide your spreader is throwing product. So just go on, but then don't leave it there, because a lot of these products, if you leave them, they will stay in the driveway. So make sure it's nice and clean. Make one pass. You'll be able to see on the right to the left how far it's going, and then you can either you can sweep that up, throw it back in the hopper, or take it and blow it into the lawn, because it's only one pass. It should be okay. And that's an easy way to visually see how wide your sprayer is throwing. All right. Next up is Lawnmower Master. And you know what, Tom? That's a good question. I'm actually going to save that, because I'm sure someone else will have that at some point. So why not? All right. Next up is Lawnmower Master. He says, hey, Ron, when you spray, how do you tell where you spray without dyeing the whole yard blue? So for thing one, Lawnmower Master, I've been spraying my lawn for a long time, for a number of years. So I know how far apart I need to walk to get good coverage. So how can I explain it? I have a system that I use whenever I am walking, and it's easier if you do this in the morning when there's dew on the lawn. Like visually, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about better. But I'm right-handed, so I hold the wand in my right hand. So when I'm walking, I'm spraying, the wand is like, it's in front of me, but it's really off more to the right. So the left side of the spray, I don't know, I guess, what do you call it? The spray cone that is putting out is about in front of me. It's just in front of me, right? So I walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. And then when I'm going to make another pass, I turn around and I pretty much walk on the same line, only the sprayer is on the other side of that. And then, so now I've got two that are together, and then I just step over and then make another walk down and then back and then step over, down and back, because you're spraying in one pass, you're spraying like the right side, and then the other pass back, you're spraying like the left side, if it makes sense. But I've got a short video that I did last week. I think I call it Footsteps in the Lawn, where you can actually see what I'm talking about. It's harder to explain, easier to see. Yeah, this is the video right here. So if you look at this guy, let me make sure I'm sending you the right one. I think I am. I guess it's pretty early in the morning, but yeah, if you look, yeah, this is it. This is the one. So say Ron, say walking path with liquid with sprayer. You'll see kind of what I'm talking about. It's a short. There you go. So take a look at that on Lawnmower Master. It'll give you an idea. I'm not sure necessarily the way that I do it is the only way, but it's a way that I'm able to get results consistently, because Literally, I hold the wand pretty much in the same position when I'm walking, and then if you think of it this way, if these are my feet, it's probably the best way to think about it. If I'm spraying, I'm going in this direction. So as I'm walking, and these are my feet. This is the sprayer. When I turn around, right, this side has been sprayed. This side has not been. When I come back and I walk down pretty much the same line, now the wand is on this side and I'm spraying this way. So I'm covering this half and then this half. And then once that's done, I simply step over and then do the same thing up and then down and then step over, then up and down, if that makes sense. So look at the that short video that I gave, and hopefully it'll help it make sense for you. But the way I hold the sprayer allows the wand allows me to do that. So take a look at that and go from there. What you can do, what I'd say is this, Lawnmower Master, is if you're going to try this, use dye the first few times you do it, because then you'll be able to see, where how far are you covering, how is it, are you getting even coverage, and then once you get your technique down, then the need for dye is less and less, if that makes sense. Okay, next is I gotta find where I left off. But hope that makes sense to you, Lawnmower Master. Like anything else, as you work with a sprayer more, you get better and better at it. So I'm just giving you tips as far as what works for me and what helps me produce a good result. All right, we got Devin in the house. He says, "What's up, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. Primo, carbon kit, and a liquid wetting agent went down this afternoon. Nice, very, very cool, very cool. I like it, Devin. I like it. So you got to keep us posted, man. So went down this afternoon. So by Sunday, maybe Monday, you should start seeing a nice color response. So good stuff. I dig it." Blake Owens is up next. He says, "How often can I fertilize New Bermuda from seed? Did a starter fertilizer the day of seed and light application at 4 weeks. June 10th will be 7 weeks using 4600. Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't use like straight urea on my to feed my lawn, Blake. I mean, I don't know. I look at the label and some of this is it depends on a couple of things. Depends on the rates that you're using. That will weigh in. You said you did them 4 weeks apart, which for only liquid, which I think is what you're doing. That's a bit long of an interval for me. But I without knowing the product for sure, and again, if it's 4600, which I believe is a straight urea product, I would be spraying at lighter rates every couple of weeks versus once per month. But again, I don't use that. I don't use like straight urea fertilizer. So, but it sounds like you did it well to start. You used, I'm guessing, a granular fertilizer to start out with when you put the seed down, and then you switched over to 4600. So, what I would say is low rates every couple of weeks. If you're at the point now where you're mowing the lawn, you're on it. Yeah, if you want to just if you want to play with that and figure out what the lawn responds well to. But big thing is low rates, man. It doesn't take much. You don't want to end up taking a chance of burning your lawn. So low rates is what I would say. All right, next up is Tom V. We have a couple questions here. Tom B is up. Actually, it's Devin. He says, "Tom B, when you're coming to the end of your pass, try to look out for the edge of throw and see where the granulars are bouncing. A trick I always use." So there you go. That's another one you can look at as well. Yeah. So pretty much you want the edge to edge throw to hit each other so that you're getting good coverage, just barely, not heavy overlaps. And again, if you want a visual way that's not putting products in the grass, Tom, you can make a single pass like on a flat dry way, and then obviously get the product up. If you want to visually see, give an idea of how wide your spreader is going. For most people, believe it or not, your spreader is throwing further right and left than you actually believe. And I think if you go do what I'm talking about, you'll see that you'll be surprised at how wide it actually does throw. All right, so we have a question here from Instagram. Let's see here. He says, "Hey Ron, a silly question. If you're aiming for a 1 pound per 1,000 square feet of nitrogen, what's the difference between a triple 10 and a triple 14 aside from the amount of product? A couple things. Yes, the amount of product But also, I'll put you this way: if the formulations are the same, meaning that from a percentage standpoint they have the same amount of slow and fast release nitrogen in them, then yeah, there's not really a difference. It's really just the amount of product you're using. But normally it's not that simple. You'll find that between different fertilizers, even you look at like even like a triple 12 or a triple, I don't know, like a triple 19. That's a common one as well too. But between different manufacturers, the amount of slow release nitrogen and fast release nitrogen will be different. So so even though you are putting out the technically the same amount of N just based on the amount of pounds to the ground, how it's going to release and the results you're going to get will be different. But yeah, to answer your question, it's if all things being equal, it's the amount of product that you are applying. And you said not understanding why triple X products exist if the rate is the same. Because it's not. So like 3 pounds per 1,000 of a triple 12 is like the amount of N you're putting in is less. It's it's like it's less than what you would put in if you were applying like a triple 19, for example, right? So yeah, I mean, so another reason could be this as well on Maestro. Let's say you have a larger lawn, right? You have a larger lawn and you want to put out a starter fertilizer. A 50 pound, and you're trying to apply them at the same rates, right? You're trying to get the exact same amount of N going into the lawn. Like the triple 19 is going to go further. It's going to cover more square footage than the lower percentage nitrogen bag, if that makes sense. So that's another consideration as well. So I guess your question is, why isn't there just one triple whatever, like triple 10? That's the only one. But yeah, it's just not that simple. For larger lawns, having, I guess you could think of a more concentrated formulation is allowing you to get more coverage out of a single bag. So just something else to consider. JC Crawl Georgia says, "Hey Ron, I'm the one that top dress heavily. I sent you video of it. Go dogs. The spraying fertilizer and real mowing is a different world." Yeah, man, it is. It is a different world. J Crawl Georgia. I'll see if I can find you here and take a look. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get a video up. Maybe. Oh, actually, I can't get this up. I'll show it here in a second. J Crawl, if I can get it to load. Yep, he did. Yep, that's working. All right, so if you guys want to see his lawn, he just top dressed heavily and he just got through mowing, and he set up his stripes in such a way that whenever people are driving by, they can appreciate the awesomeness of his lawn. So I'm just checking this really quick, and overall, that looks pretty clean, man. Looks good. It's looking good. So I can open this up. Yeah, it's too small. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. There we go. So he's doing that slow drive-by. Actually, because you're a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs, we can put some respect on your name. We're gonna start this over one more again. And guys, you have to appreciate that the man went out and put the diagonal stripes in, so when folks are driving by, you can really appreciate it. Really appreciate the appeal. Looks good, man. Color looks great. Stripes look good. Nice work. Got some palm trees going on. That's cool. Very cool. Looks like the project came out quite well. So yeah, thank you for sharing the picture of the video of your lawn, what you're working with. All right, next up, we have another super chat. Let me grab this one really quick. I'm gonna start talking faster, or I'm gonna be here all night. Is Sean Flood, S Flood.
Super chat.
He says, "Hey, I sent a picture. I planted sod pods in my backyard. My driveway strips are browning by the roadside. I sprayed hydrotain last week and lowered my watering." You lowered your watering 3 times per week. It has red tips, 3 ounces per gallon is what you applied. Yeah. Would you say you lowered your watering 3 times? Do you lower it 2-3 times per week, or yeah, it's I'm not seeing the picture, Sean. I'm looking here. It doesn't look like it attached, but if you send it again, I'll take a look at it and I'll give you an answer after the show, because it looks like your picture, there was no image attached. But if you're reducing it to 3 times per week, what do you reduce it from? Because that's 3 times per week that's a pretty good cadence. Like that's what I'm doing this year. In years past, it's been twice per week. So if you're overwatering the lawn, that can lead to disease problems, to discoloration, like what you're describing. So it's only been a week since you reduced the amount of watering, I would give it time. I would give it a bit of time and let things run its course. In other words, I wouldn't look at it for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks is what I would say. As you start seeing some improvement. If you just started just this week, that's far too soon. But if you lowered it, yeah, I'm seeing here. You said, yeah, I lowered it 2-3 times per week. Okay, so it sounds like you may have been overwatering. So it's just going to take some time for the lawn to recover from that, and with time you should be just good to go. If you get a chance, send the picture again, and I'll take a look at it and let you know after the show what I think. But based on what I'm hearing, that it sounds like you were overwatering it. Just give it time. All right, Blake Owens is. Oh no, I already answered you, Blake. Next up is Lance from BK. Lance from BK. He says, "Hey Ron, and happy Friday. A question on pre-germination grass seed. What's the right way?" I can't really answer that one. I've never actually done it myself. It says 24 hours in water, then 12 hours out, and then 12 hours back in until germination. I can't tell you, Lance. I've never actually done it. I would look for someone on YouTube and see what they've done and copy that, or see if you can find like a blog post or something online and see what other people have done. I've never done any pre-germination when it comes to my grass seed to be able to tell you. If someone is in the live stream that knows and you want to answer Lance, feel free to do that. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know because I've never actually done it. So sorry, I'm not more help on that one. Carrie McDaniel is up next. He says, "Evening, don't make my mistake." PSA. He says, "I dumped out a partial tank of Celsius on the driveway since it won't keep. It ran into the edge of the Bermuda, some nice yellowing." Ooh, that's not good, Carrie. Yeah. No, you live and you learn. And as a general rule, Carrie, I know it sounds like a small amount, but you really want to, and next time I know you'll do this, is only mix what you plan to use. Like, don't go out and mix up 4 gallons of product if you're only planning on spraying 2,000 square feet. So mix what you're going to use. Here's the thing. You can always just start where you're mixing not enough, because you can always mix more of it. You can always, add more product, add more water, and you can create more. But to your point, once you mixed a bunch of it and it's just kind of sitting around, it's tough to get rid of. So sorry you gave your grass a little ouchie. It's Bermuda. It'll bounce back. But thanks for sharing your guidance on what not to do with your leftover lawn product. Michael Kuhn is up next. He says, "Have you thought about getting a smart mower?" By smart, you mean robot mower? It says, "You could still mow on some days, but the smart mower could mow on the regular to push the lawn to grow more laterally." Here's the thing, Michael. I don't really have trouble with it growing laterally as it is. I already have to verticut the lawn once a month to thin it out. So I don't really need it thickening up much faster than it already is. And in other words, if you look at this video, this lawn, you can still kind of make it out just barely, but this lawn was verticut about 2 weeks ago. You can barely see the lines there. If you look really closely, you can still kind of make them out. But even with being verticut 2 weeks ago, you can see how that's thickening up. I mean, there's no bare dirt, no exposure. And if I come up to here, to this vantage point, you can't see it at all. It looks great, right? So anything that's going to cause it to thicken up, like you're saying, like running a robot mower on it, I don't really need that. And then also, I think it would mess up my stripes. That's another thing, another consideration too. Like I'm really picky about my stripe action, about how the lawn looks, the stripes of the lawn. And if you put some robot out there and it's mowing the lawn and just kind of going in all kind of different directions, and I know it uses GPS and waypoints, and eventually it covers the entire thing. But I don't want like tracks all through my lawn that looks like it's like a demolition derby. I want order. I want to create order in something where there normally would not be order. That's the idea. That's the idea behind my lawn stripes. So whenever they make one that can stripe, whenever someone makes a robot mower that can stripe like that with that level of precision, it can look like that. And I decide that I don't like mowing anymore, which is not going to be anytime soon, then I'll consider one. But unless it can do that, I am not interested. I'm not interested. And plus, part of it is this too, is like and I've said it on other shows already before, but the chase is what's fun to me. You know what I mean? When the lawn's now we're entering this time of year where the lawn's looking really good. I get like 2 to 3 weeks where it's like really mwah. While it's pretty to look at and I make nice videos of it and I show everyone, hey, look how nice the lawn's looking, it's also kind of boring because it looks good. You know what I mean? You're always trying to chase that deeper green, the better stripes, the tighter cut, the tighter turf. It's always the the chase is what's fun. It's not necessarily the result so much. I mean, the result's nice because it shows, yeah, all the work I'm putting in pays off, but the actual process of doing is what I find fun. So like literally having a robot mower do that would be like, I'd be cheating myself. Like, I mean, I actually enjoy mowing my grass. I know it sounds crazy, but I like today I went and mowed it. I mowed it yesterday, but today before the live stream, I was like, I just want to go take a walk and mow the grass. So I went and mowed the lawn again just because I feel like it. You know what I mean? So for me, I am not their demographic. The people that want robot mowers are people with larger properties that either don't have the time or don't or do not like mowing their grass, and they still want it to look good. For that purpose, I think they're great. But again, they can't make grass look like that yet. Not yet. And when it happens, whenever Toro or John Deere releases one, then we're talking. They probably could consider it. I mean, Lord knows I probably won't be able to afford one, but we'd have to look and see then. Because I'm sure whenever they do it, it's gonna be done right. But again, the big thing is I'd have to not want to mow my grass, which I'm not gonna. I enjoy it. I know I'm broken that way. All right, Alex Restano says, I pulled out my phone so fast you wouldn't believe. Thanks, Ron. She's in there listening to get your AirPods in. I'm like, stop. You're doing it wrong. No, you're good, man. All right, Jackson 5 has a question about the carbon kit. He says, Ron, can you explain the benefits of carbon kit, release zero, NutriKelp, and biospectrum in particular? Great. So in that kit, release zero is you can think of release zero as a catalyst that just helps maximize uptake. So it's got 10% micronized carbon in it, which helps with nutrient uptake. It allows you to use less fertilizer and still get really good results. So that's the role that release zero serves. So you can think of, if you spray it by itself, it's fine. If you mix it along with fertilizer, with herbicides, it's just going to accelerate them. It's going to improve the uptake that you get with whatever you mix it with. NutriKelp, it also has carbon in it, not quite as much as release zero, but it's primarily a 24% kelp product, which is going to help the grass tolerate stress better. It's a biostimulant, so it's going to help improve that microbial activity. So in general, it's like a vitamin pack for the plant. Helps with uptake, helps it mitigate stress better, which is why I added it to the carbon kit whenever I was putting it together with Miramichi Green. And then finally, Biospectrum is a soil microbial food. So if you follow my program, I spray fungicides 2 times during the year, a total of 4 times, but twice at 2 different times of the year. So in May, June, I'll put out fungicides, and then again in the fall, so October, November, I'll put out fungicides. While fungicides are an excellent tool for keeping diseases out of your lawn, they are hard on the beneficial bacteria and microbial activity in the soil. So the reason why I added Biospectrum as a way to restore that. So I'm spraying Biospectrum every couple of weeks when I'm spraying release. In my case, I'm using release 901C. Release 901C and release zero are basically the same thing with fertilizer. Release 901C just has fertilizer in it. So I'm spraying release 901C, NutriKelp, and Biospectrum along with everything else that I do, like my growth regulators. And that helps to offset that. Just a couple things. It helps offset the impact of the fungicide applications. And again, because we're feeding the soil, we're improving like the engine that helps break down any kind of soil inputs like a granular fertilizers. They just work better. So I'm able to apply less granular fertilizer, less liquid fertilizer. Again, I'm putting about 7 to 8 tenths of a pound of nitrogen into my lawn every month, and it still looks great. The color still looks great. If you've seen any of the pictures or video, it looks awesome, right? So that package that I put together with Miramichi Green was for that purpose. It's like a way of getting a good result while minimizing the amount of nitrogen or amount of N that you're putting into the soil. It's good in support of sustainability, which I like, and it produces a great result. Like the grass looks amazing with it. So hopefully that helps answer your question, like what each of them do. There is a reason behind each of them. So when I was putting that together, there was a product that I'm not sure if Lesco even still carries it anymore. There's a product that Lesco used to carry that I was using, and I wanted to duplicate the results of that, but then take it even a step further. And that's why we ended up with the carbon kit as you see it. So release zero, NutriKelp, and Biospectrum. So hopefully that helps. Helps as far as helping you understand what each of them do and why, the why behind it. And then Mr. Rodrigo says, Ron, you're the man. Thanks for what you do. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, and on to our next questions. Next we have Jason Crawl. I actually put your video up already. Jason says, good evening, Ron. I sent you photos of the status of the heavy top dressing. LOL. Go dogs. Still learning this liquid fertilization. LOL. It's really not bad, Jason. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. Like, I'm not sure if you were watching the show earlier, but earlier I walked through like a short primer on, like, if you get a brand new backpack sprayer, now what? Or a brand new pump sprayer, whatever, now what? How do you go about ensuring you get a good result? So like calibrating it, the importance of dilution rates, how to spray with it, like all that stuff. So if you haven't watched that, you can go back to the beginning part of the live stream where I cover that. But yeah, just take your time, and like anything else, you're gonna get better at it as you do it more and more. What I would tell you to do is you can always add more products. You can always go out and spray again a few days later if you need to. But when you're first starting out, like, start with low rates. Like start on the lower end. If the product gives you a big range, start on the lower end of the application range, and just see what kind of results you get, what kind of response you get from the lawn, and adjust from there. And like I said, as you get better at it, you'll get more and more comfortable. All right, Matthew Kim says, Ron, my man, can you put down Primo Max at high temps, like 95 degrees, without any harm to the lawn? I do. I mean, I spray Primo every 2 weeks. So yeah. So and here in July, we will absolutely have periods of time when we are in the high 90s, some days low hundreds, but I mean, it can get hot here. So to answer your question, yes. Keep in mind though, Matthew, I spray Primo at half rate. So for example, the rate for my grass type for Bermuda calls for 1/4 of an ounce per 1,000 square feet once per month. I take that 1/4 of an ounce and I cut it in half, so 0.125 ounces, and I spray that every 2 weeks. So I take the monthly rate and I cut it in half, and I just spray that every 2 weeks throughout the growing season. And I don't get any tip burn, any damage. No, there's really no adverse effects other than there's less mowing in the lawn. You know what I mean? The color looks great. And to answer your question, no, there's no problem with spraying Primo at higher temperatures. Just be sure to stick to the labeled the rates, whether you're doing that once per month or you're doing it like how I would recommend, which is spraying it every couple of weeks, spraying, I guess on a split app type program. The only negative to doing it that way is that it takes a bit more time because you're out in the lawn twice per month or every couple of weeks versus once a month, but you are on a live stream about grass on a Friday night. So I'm pretty sure you're into your lawn. You having to be out there every couple of weeks sounds like fun instead of work for you. And if you are interested in the blog post I have on using growth regulator in this way, I will link it here for you in the chat. That talks all about the benefits of growth reg and how you can spray it every couple of weeks for a good result. So, and I got it on my calendar to update this blog post to add some notes about a new in here. So this guy will be getting updated soon, but you can still check it out. So there you go, Matthew. If you need anything else, let me know. But should be good to go. Just stick to the rates. All right. Next up, we have Brandon Henry, my kinfolk. He says, hey, Ron, I hope your Friday is going well. I bought Anderson's Humichar Verticutted the Kentucky Bluegrass and put it down. The bag says it should cover 12,000 square feet. With my Echo RT60 spreader, it covered it covered 2,000 square feet. Any issues? Not really. You're not going to damage the lawn. However, we probably need to adjust the setting on your Echo. You probably want to back the setting on your Echo down. So, Brandon, question for you. So the bag is supposed to cover 12,000 square feet. As you were walking and you're just watching it just disappear really quickly, like it's being like the Humichar is being sucked into a black hole. Like at some point, didn't you stop and say, this is going out a bit too fast. Let me stop and adjust it. Or you're just like, whatever, I'm in it now. I gotta just ride this out and see what happens. Is that what you did? again, I don't know why I find this so funny, but when I was to answer your question, no, you're not going to damage the lawn. I would reduce the setting on your spreader a little bit so you're not putting out quite so much. I mean, because they say one bag will cover 12,000 square feet, but there's really a range, right? You can apply it heavier than that and still get a great result. I wouldn't necessarily apply it at like 6 times the rate, like what you did. Not regularly anyway. I mean, if the first time for the season you want to do that, whatever. But I mean, I wouldn't regularly do that. So let's just reduce it. If you're on like a setting of 5, let's go to like 3. Let's like just back it down. Back it down a little bit. All right, next up is Carrie McDaniel. Carrie McDaniel's up next. He says, about to go out of town for 2 weeks. My Bermuda is about to get a second Primo Max treatment. I'm at 3/4 inch height of cut. Gradual reduction in height of cut after return or go lower before I leave. It doesn't really matter, Carrie. I mean, not mowing your grass for 2 weeks, it's going to grow out. You're going to have, I don't want to say you're going to have a mess on your hands, but you're going to have some work to do. So if you want to lower it before you go, fine, but it's you're still going to have some work to do whenever you get back from the 2 weeks, whatever you're going to go out and whatever you're doing. So either way doesn't matter. If you want to scalp it or take it down low because you're not going to be here to look at it anyway, you could do that. I mean, that's a good point. You know what? The more I think about it, you know, if you want to take now as a chance to do like a mid-season height of cut reset, like if you don't have a way to verticut the lawn or turf rake it, you know, help thin it out, you're not going to be here to stare at it anyway. So if you wanted to scalp it, you know, to reset the height of cut, now would not be a bad time to do it. I think the more I think about it, that's probably what I would do if I were you, or just not leave for 2 weeks. I mean, deserting your grass for 2 weeks, man. What kind of thing is this? But yeah, of the two options, you're not going to be here to see it. So just take it down low. Let's see here. Jackson Snock is back. He said, yes, thank you for the biospectrum amount. 1 spoonful for 4 gallons of water. I'm spraying 1,500 square feet right now. I didn't know if there's a specific amount on the scale per 1,000 square feet. Thanks. No, not really, Jackson. So you can back that down. So in other words, the tablespoon, like the little Dixie, the little white spoon, like when you're out picnic, a little white plastic spoon, one of those level, suspended in water and then sprayed over 4,000 square feet is fine. If you want to take half that, because you're doing 1,500, 2,000 square feet, you want to take half that, take a cup like this. So here's how you mix biospectrum. You take a cup like this, you put water in it. Doesn't really matter how much, you know, because you're just using this as a way to get it suspended. So you would take half of one of those spoons, dump it in here, get a spatula, not one of your wife's or girlfriend's or one she uses to cook with, because that could be, you know, bad for your health. So get that, get it all mixed, suspended, and then take that mixture, like that biospectrum water concentrate, and then pour that in your sprayer that already has water in it, and then go spray your lawn. So I would just take that, that spoon, cut it in half, and then you're good to go. You're not going to damage anything, I guess is what you're asking. So, and you don't have to be super precise about it. Just I say just half of what you would normally use if you were putting out spraying 4 gallons of water. All right. Next up we have, you know what, Jackson Snock, I'm not sure if you're here. That's a good question. If you're here, if you want to be our Miramichi question of the weeks, I think they would get a kick out of that. I think they'd like that one. First of all, let's do some housekeeping here. Make a note of you first. So 30, Jackson Snock. Okay, if you'd like to win, or if you'd like a free shirt, courtesy of the folks at Miramichi Green, if I can hold it in the right way, a Greatness from the Ground Up t-shirt. It's nice and soft. Here's the thing. Even if your lawn does not look awesome, you will look stylish wearing one of these in the lawn. So part of like having a great lawn is also looking good, right? So if you like to win a free shirt, if you want a free shirt, just send me an email. My email address is ron@golfcourselawn.com. And in the subject line, just say, this is Jackson from the live stream, or, you know, and I'll know who you are. And then I will tell you how to claim it. I can't paste my email address in here, or you can also, if you send an email to the store, like one of the email addresses on the store, they'll also get that to me as well. But my email address is pretty easy. Ron, R-O-N, @golfcourselawn.com, all together, just how it sounds, just how it's spelled. And you'll get yourself some free swag. Great question. Okay. Next up is Jason Harrison. He says, evening, everyone. Happy Friday. May everyone's lawn be greener than mine currently is. Jason, what say you? You saying your lawn does not look good? You guys want to see Jason's lawn? You want to see what he's working with? So you guys remember, Jason recently top dressed his lawn, and this was day 0. He went a bit heavier than I would have liked, but it's Jason. He marches to a beat of his own drum. This is day 0. This is day 3. I think this was day 7. No, day 5. Day 5, and then finally day 7. So it is growing in, man. Yeah. So from that to that in less than a week is pretty good. And how Jason did that, because if you look at that, that's heavier than I would go, but how he went from that to that in a week is he's been watering, and he's also been taking his leveling rake and dragging the lawn regularly. So every day he gets out there with a leveling rake and just walks the entire lawn and drags it. That's going to help expose the tips of the grass, helps the lawn recover that much faster. So good job, Jason. Looking good. It's gonna recover. It's gonna recover just fine. And overall, it's looking pretty smooth, man. Be patient as far as getting the mower back on it. I would not run the Revolution on that just yet. It needs to grow in quite a bit more before you put a real mower back on that. Unless you want to take your brand new mower in for sharpening, which I don't think that's what you want to do. Abraham Soto is up next. He says, good evening, Ron, and happy Friday. I applied Simple Lawn Solutions Liquid Fert at half rate, and it rained for 1 hour and 40 minutes after. I'm seeing fertilizer burn on the tips. What did I do wrong? Not familiar with, I know the company, but I'm not familiar with the fertilizer that you may have used. It just sounds like you overdid it. It sounds like you applied it too heavily. I don't know if that fertilizer is a foliar spray or if it's designed to be watered in. I'm not really familiar with their fertilizer offerings. If it's designed to be watered in and you sprayed it and it dried and then it rained an hour and 10 minutes afterwards, maybe that's why. I mean, I would lean towards over application. Like you may went a little bit too heavy on your application, and that's why you're getting the burning. So what I would say is, if you're going to continue to use that, one, reread the label, check the label out, or maybe check with their technical support and say, hey, this is what happened to my lawn. They'll be able to give you some guidance, or they should be able to give you some guidance as far as how to use the products and not have that happen. But like I was telling other viewers, consider backing the rate down. I don't know if that product is like a hose end sprayer applied, or if you apply it with like a pump or backpack sprayer. But if there is a rate range, start on the lower end. That's the beautiful thing about liquids, guys. If you start with especially like liquid fertilizers, if you start with a liquid fert and you are at the lower end and you're like, yeah, I got a little bit of a color response, but I'd like to be a little bit greener, or I'd like to go up on the rate, it's very easy to do that. It's really easy to add more, really tough to take it out once you put it in. So there you go. So hope that helps. And then we got a picture, the gentleman that asked the question about biospectrum sent a picture of his lawn. I think he's okay with me sharing it. That's why he sent it. But I won't say your name because you didn't ask me to. But ooh, man, that looked good. That color looks good, man. That looks real good. I'll show you guys right here really quick, because I'm oohing and eyeing over it, and you guys can't see it. You're like, yeah, this does us no good because we can't see what you're looking at. But now look at this. Look at the color, man. Look, man. That's clean. It's clean, really good. Color looks nice and even. Stripe action is on point. Nice work. Nice work. Nice grass. Nice lawns, man. Love it. 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 Looks awesome. All right. Next up, we got Fresh Apples. He says, as a teen responsible for caring for my family's Bermuda grass in clay soil, he's like, this great burden has been left on my shoulders to care for the lawn. He says, what's the best approach to fertilizing it? How can I ensure it stays well watered despite clay's compactness? Okay. So the best approach to fertilizing it is to if you're trying to do it as correctly as possible, get a soil test done. So get a soil test kit. One that I recommend is one from My Soil, because they're easy to use, easy to understand the results, and they save your results in a portal for you, which makes it easy for you to then reference at a later point. So get a soil test done, because that's going to give you the answers to the test as far as what fertilizer is correct for your lawn. And then as far as relieving compaction, what you're going to want to do is core aerate. Now you're a teenager, so I'm not sure if your parents want you running a core aerator. I mean, it's a big piece of equipment and I don't want you to, potentially get hurt. So see if mom or dad will spring for having someone come out and core aerate. For most lawns, normal size lawns, you can get it done for $100 thereabouts. Figure $100 is the midpoint. It'll be a little bit. It can be a little bit more expensive than that. It can be a little bit less than that, but that's a good. It's a good starting point as far, and depending on the size of your lawn. Core aeration is going to do a lot to help relieve compaction in a heavy clay soil. And then I'm not sure if your parents are letting you top dress, but I mean, here's how I would sell it fresh apples. If it were me, if mom and dad say, hey, why are we doing all this? Why are you making us go out and get like someone to come core aerate the lawn? Why you want us to bring a bunch of sand in to come put it out? You say, hey, listen, mom, dad, I'm trying to be responsible. You have given me this heavy burden to carry as far as representing our family via our lawn for the rest of the neighborhood. I'm trying to do all I can to try and make it look as good as possible, but you guys have to help me. Help me help you. Help me, just do your part. While I'll do all the hard work, I'll put the product out, I will mow it and everything. You guys will have to, support this in the form of monetary support. And they'll either tell you yes or they'll tell you no. And if they tell you no, you're no worse off than you are now. And they'll probably meet you halfway and help out with it. They'll help out with getting you what you need to be able to top dress the lawn and do everything else. But yes, soil test is thing one, core aerate thing two, and then if you can, top dressing is going to help. And as far as we can get a soil test kit, fresh apples, they are available there on the golf course lawn store. The ones from My Soil is what I'd recommend. And good job, man. It's good job. It's good to see like teenagers out working in the lawn instead of just playing video games. Not that there's anything wrong with video games. I played video games when I was a kid, but it's good to see that you're out there touching grass, being one with nature, doing fun stuff, learning some skills. It's good. There are far worse things you could be doing. Jason Harrison is up next. He says, was talking with a GCLA member and was discussing if applying lime and fert at the same time could affect chemistry at all. Thoughts? That's a good question, Jason. I've never actually thought about that. I don't think so. What I would say is this: is if let's say your soil is acidic, I would do the lime application first. Even if you can, this might be tough to do, to give that much time between applications. If you can do the lime first to give it time to react with the soil to help raise the pH, then you're going to get more out of your fertilizer. But as far as if you put out lime and then put out fertilizer on the same day, if the lime is going to negatively impact the fertilizer, the truth of the answer is I don't know, but I don't believe so. I can't think of why it would negatively affect the chemistry of the fertilizer. But again, I could be wrong on that, but if it were me and you had the time, I would do the lime first and then do the fertilizer afterwards. Next up, we got Ryan Contento says, howdy, Ron. Howdy, Ryan. Hopefully you're doing all right. And the next up, we got Bird of Prey. He says, I'm noticing some continuous dry spots. Should I put down some soil that helps hold water better? You could. You could also have some localized dry spots in those areas, Bird of Prey. A product like Foreplay will help. Also check to make sure there's not any debris on those areas where the lawn is like regularly dry. So, because for example, if this is your soil and you've got like say a rock, like a big rock that's like a couple of inches beneath the surface, like the grass here is going to dry out. The soil here is going to dry out faster than the soil that's over here that doesn't have this rock that's basically acting like a big heating pad. Like there's not a whole lot of there's not enough soil to spread or to soak up that heat. So as far as that drying out first, if there's any kind of a rock or concrete or any kind of trash under there, that also could be part of why that area is staying or drying out sooner. If that's not the case, consider like a moisture manager like Foreplay. I'll show you here. If you go to the golf course lawn store and you go to shop and you go to soil moisture management. Given that you're dealing with localized dry spots, I would go with like Foreplay. Go with this. You can get it in the quart or the gallon, and either one of these would be an option for that area. But I would also try and figure out why. Using the moisture manager is one thing. Putting out soil in the area to help is another thing. But I'd like to, we want to understand the why behind it. Like, why is this particular area, if we can, why is this one area just like not work? Why is it drying out sooner than an area 6 feet away from it? And a lot of times, if you just do a little bit of digging or just do a bit of investigation, you can get the answer to that. So moisture manager will help, but I would also try and understand the why behind it too, if it were me. No Name is up next. He says, "Hey Ron and fellow lawn enthusiasts, looking forward to some great lawn chat. I ordered an Earthway. Ooh, man, you know what? We gotta clap that up. You know I like those. Good job. Good job. I like it. I'm over the Scott's Tiger Stripes. Let's get those likes up. Yeah, guys, we got 140 people in the live stream right now. Only 93 likes. This makes me sad. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, it costs absolutely nothing. It's a free way to support the channel. Sends good vibes to YouTube to get more people to come over here. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, I would most appreciate it. All right. Next up, we have John BCW says, started following a few weeks ago, just did a Primo Max application a bit too heavy a week ago. I now have Essential G and some Humic Max coming. Should I do those together or separate after a mow? Yes, a great question, John. If you did Primo Max a bit heavy a week ago, if you went too heavy and you're getting an adverse result, you would see it already. You'd be seeing that result in the lawn already. So you may have dodged a bullet, but let's just not do that again. As far as Essential G and Humic Max, do Essential G, apply Essential G first and then Humic Max afterwards. You can do them on the same day. Matter of fact, I do them on the same day. Like I did my Humic Max and Essential G app. If you guys follow my shorts, I did that yesterday afternoon. So they're both done. They're both out and applied. I do the granular biostimulant first and then Humic Max. So, and then can you do them after a mow? Yes, I would, because if you think about it, if you're gonna go put them down and then go mow the grass, you might pull up some of the prill, right? Especially Essential G, because that prill is a little bit bigger than Humic Max, the Humic Max prill. So for me, I would mow and then put out the Essential G and then follow up with Humic Max and then water it in afterwards, and then you're off to the races. So first of all, happy to have you as a follower, and glad you get some value out of the content. If you have any other questions, let me know. Have fun with it. Next up is Matt Jackson. He says, what is that dark green grass that grows in the shade? It's like a dwarf monkey grass. Does anyone know what it's called? I don't. I know what you're talking about. This is the one that it's almost like it's the grass blades are long and they kind of like mushroom over. Is that what you're talking about? If that's what it is, I know visually what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it though. I mean, look at me. Look at my lawn. Do I look like someone? Do I look like someone that knows the name of like flowers and plants and this type of thing? I mean, all I got is grass. I get tons of email all the time, people telling me to put plants in. So I am not going to be a whole lot of help for you on that one, Matt. Tito Serrano is up next. He says, hey, Ron, from the street, my Tifway 419 looks really good, but standing over it, it's thin. I see some soil. FYI, I just level so you can still see the sand. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. Yes. Completely normal, Tito. Patience is the order of the day. Because think about it as well, too, right? If you are standing right over the grass, so you're looking straight down, like you can, like if it's not fully thick and filled in, you're gonna see the sand a lot easier than if you're looking at it from an angle, right? Because you're not able to see, like you're looking right down. So as far as what you're experiencing and seeing more sand when you were standing over the grass, that is completely normal. If you just think about it, like just because of the angle of your point of view, it's going to look better like when you're looking out at it versus when you're looking straight down on it. So completely normal. Just wait. You know why it's that way? Because you just top your salon, right? So nothing to be concerned about. All right. Mark Luna is up next. He says, hey, Ron, looking great in the lawn. Dark green. Revolution is striping nice. Lawn took a week or two to get used to the height, but I'm rocking now. Few spots of nut's edge, but certainty will take care of it. Nice. Very cool, Mark. And that's the thing you have to realize, too. I really like this comment that, you get a brand new reel mower, especially you guys that are going from a rotary to a reel mower. There is an adjustment period. Like your grass has to get used to, one, the increased cutting frequency and being mowed at a shorter height. So, I'm glad to hear that, sound like you're just taking it in stride, and now the lawn's looking better and better as you do it more. So good stuff. Keep it going. And like you said, yeah, certainty will make quick work of the nut's edge. And oh, cool. Yeah, we have a comment here. As far as that grass, it looks like monkey grass. Someone was saying here in the chat, I just saw it, mondo grass. I think that's the name of it. So, or mondo is the name of that plant. I think that's correct. You know what? I'm gonna look here really quick and see if I can get a picture of it. Mondo grass. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking about. Yep. This is it right here. So, we can show you guys what, well, it's not a great picture. But yes, this right here. So that's a nice cover. That one right there. It's pretty, it looks nice and does well in shade. So cool. Thanks again, Oconee, and yeah, Mark, enjoy the mower. Enjoy it. The Grass Man is up next. He says, let's see here. He says, hey, Ron, I hope you are having a fantastic day. I want to come on here and say thank you for the information you give. You've inspired me to take my lawn back. Also, I think we look similar. I mean, yeah, if I could grow out a stash, I mean, maybe, I don't know, I guess. What do you guys think? I guess maybe. Or that is me. You took, I think what you took is that, I think that is me, and you just put a mustache on me. So fun and games, I get it. But at any rate, thanks for the, I'm assuming the comment's genuine. I'm glad that you are getting some value out of it. And that's how I look with a mustache. That's a good reason for me to not grow one. All right. Next up is Brandon Henry. My cousin is back. He says, I have several mosquitoes in the neighbor's I don't know that word, arborvitae? I'm not sure how you say it properly. Is there a good product to spray to remove them? Usually I wouldn't care, but a good day I only eat one or two, so it's a problem. Okay, so you want to get rid of mosquitoes, and you want to do so in a way that is, let's say, environmentally friendly. I got just a thing for you, Brandon. So if you go to the golf course lawn store and you go to shop and in insecticide and fungicide section, you will find the Miramichi Green Pest Control, which is an excellent product for ants, chinch bugs, roaches, no-see-ums, a bunch of other stuff. But all you really care about is mosquitoes. This is what I would use. You can apply it with a spreader or a sprayer or a fogger. So a backpack sprayer or a fogger. Either one will work. You got plenty of options, and it will do an excellent job against mosquitoes. And it also smells nice. A good benefit is that you're able to spray it, and literally once it dries, you can re-enter the area. So, you know, no biggie there. It's a non-toxic pest control. So when you guys are looking for a more sustainable, non-toxic way of controlling insects, pests in your lawn, around your house, around the, you know, the outdoor spaces, give the Miramichi Green Pest Control a look, and you can get that there, Brandon. You got it there in the chat. So hope that is useful for you. Next up is Oconee Jacket. Oconee Jacket. He says, third year now being a lawn nut, following the program from you just over the last 18 months, including PGR. The lawn is dialed in. Don't overthink it. Just follow and mow like crazy. There you go. There you go. Mowing is the thing that most people do not do enough of. And I'm glad that your lawn is looking awesome. Sounds like you're well on your way. Stephen Thompson's up next. He says, actually, no, we got a super chat here. Let me take care of these really quick. A couple of super chats. We got one from King Khan. He says,
super chat.
Just keep up the good work mowing that green screen. Yeah, so it's kind of an inside joke. So this video that you're watching here right now, King Khan I did another video of the lawn where he said, man, that lawn looks so fake. It looks like it's a green screen. We want to see you actually touch it. So I shot I know he knows it's not a green screen, but I just shot a quick video, gave it a good tap so he knows, hey, it is actually real. It does actually look like that. Even up close, it looks pretty good this time of year anyway. And so that's what that's about. It's kind of an inside joke between us. And then next up, we have another super chat.
Super chat.
From GT3 RS 374. Nice. If you got a Porsche, you got a GT3 RS, man. Good, nice taste in cars. I dig it. Nice. Thank you so much for the super chat, King Khan and GT3 RS. Thank you for the super chat as well. Appreciate all the love and support. Next up, we have Stephen Thompson. He says, what's up, Ron? I got 4.5 inches of rain in 2 hours south of Dallas-Fort Worth. Soon we'll be complaining about no rain. But man, we had crazy flash flooding. Moved a lot of my sand around. That's no good. Yeah, 4.5 inches is a bit much. Definitely a bit much. But to your point, enjoy it while you got it, because mid-June, early July, you know, the tap's going to get turned off, and then the comments will change. So enjoy it while you can. It's crazy how Texas floods like crazy. Like, it's not only Dallas Fort Worth, but like Houston. Again, I have like some family that lives, or my aunt that used to live in Lamarck, and yeah, same thing, man. You get like a couple inches of rain and just floods. It does not, like, Texas does not deal with like a lot of water well. I remember like watching videos like of like I-10, like parts of I-10 underwater, because of just, it just doesn't take a lot for the place to flood, unfortunately. So, all right, next up we got Mark Luna. He says, finally worked out a kink I had in my sprayer, spraying 1,000 square feet at 90 seconds now. Yep, that sounds about right, because I have the same sprayer you do. Spraying tomorrow. Other than my mower, my sprayer is the second most important tool. I get it. I could see that, Mark, because I mean, you use your mower several times a week. You use your sprayer a couple times per month, so I get that. I mean, especially with everything you're doing, having a quality sprayer definitely is important. I can see how that could be an important tool. All right, so GT3RS did have a comment. Let me go ahead and answer that. He didn't put in a super chat, but I'll take it now as part of your super chat. He says, I dug up my yard full of weeds and have sod coming in 1 week. I have some sedges popping up. Spray now or wait till after the sod? I would spray now. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not knock them out now? I would use, you know, what kind of sods you have. But at any rate, you're not trying to protect the grass. So you could, I mean, you could use a non-selective. You could use glyphosate if you wanted to. If you have warm season grass and you're trying to protect, I guess, the grass in that area, I don't think that would be the case. You could use Certainty to do so. It's really good against sedges, but it just really depends on what you're after. It sounds like you're burning down the lawn, and in this time when the lawn is bare, you had some sedges coming in. So I would just get rid of them. I wouldn't wait. I would absolutely knock them back prior to the sod going. And you want it to be as clean and as good a surface to put your new sod in as possible. So there's really no negative to doing so. Thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate the love and support. And yeah, keep us posted as far as how the sod project works out, how it goes. All right. Next up is we have C Pims. Collins in the house. He says, yes, I'll definitely be top dressing. First mow will be this weekend, but after watering it and getting it settled in, I can already tell it's going to need that for sure. Yeah, it won't take much, man. It won't take much to get that looking good. Greener Grass is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I was trying to attach a basketball hoop to my generator. Turns out generators have electricity. I fell and burned 1.5 acres of lawn. How can I fix this? I don't know. Greener Grass. I don't know. Sounds like you're just trolling me, but I mean, hey, I don't know. Give it time. It'll fix itself. is what I would tell you. Let me look here really. Let me look here really quick. Let me see if I can find not Higgy. Let's see. More about. Yeah. So you are a troll. You just created your account today. So you are a troll. So what we'll do to you, what we do to trolls around here. We will send you off into the ether. Goodbye. All right. So next up is Ray Antonio. Sprayed Primo today. Day got early rain coming Saturday in upstate South Carolina. You're fine. So if you sprayed Primo today and you have rain coming Saturday, that's going to be just fine, Ray. I mean, that's plenty of time. I really wouldn't sweat it. I mean, you're gonna go out and you're gonna, that's not gonna be, that's in other words, it's dry on the lawn long enough that rainfall tomorrow is not going to negatively affect the results you get. So I wouldn't sweat it. Dalen Krause is in the house. He says, happy Friday, Ron. I sent you a picture of the Tahoma 31 next to Tifway. I cut it the same day at 1/2 inch with the same amount of fertilizer, and the color difference is unreal. Yeah, so for any of you guys that are wondering which lawn I'm talking about, Dalen sent, no, not that one. This one. This is the lawn that he's referring to where the green that's near us is Tahoma 31, and the lighter green in the back is Tifway 419. So it just really shows again how that Tahoma 31 really lights off faster than Tifway. Looks good, man. Keep going. Keep taking pictures, Dalen, because it'll be interesting to see now that we're getting into the hotter time of the year, like June, like how the Tifway begins to close the gap slowly, and how it, how much of a difference we have, if any, between them. Be kind of cool to see that. Matt the Mailman says, Happy Friday, Ron. Is there a granular fertilizer I can use in my cool season lawn that does not need to be watered in? No, most granular fertilizers need to be watered in, because if you think about it, you apply them and they need to get into the soil profile, and water or of some sort, whether you need water it in or you wait for it to rain to water it in, that's important. So no, not really. You're either gonna water it in yourself, or simply time it whenever there's rain in the forecast. So if there's rain within 24, 48 hours, go ahead and put the granular fertilizer out and then let Mother Nature water it in. But yeah, you are going to want to get some water on it. Let's see here. RV18 says, when are the new Anderson's product you've been testing going to be available? Great question, RV18. So the first one that you guys are going to be able to get is the 22.3. This one. This is going to be available in 2.5 gallons, hopefully this time next week. So when I say hopefully this time next week, you guys will be, they should be being shipped to you guys this time next week. So the plan is later on next week, say, I'm aiming for Thursday to set this variant live. The 1 gallons will be a little bit longer, maybe a week or so behind. But the first one that will be available is this, which is cool because the one thing that we're missing on the store right now, right, is a Turfplex replacement, which this is. This is like Turfplex, but better. And we still have Nutrizolve. So if you guys are in need for a micronutrient, you can use that until the micronutrient is available again, which will be another week or two from now. But that guy next week, particularly in that size, in the 2.5 gallons. So I'll show you guys really quick. Go to shop lawn fertilizer, and right here, this is the 22.3. The 1 gallon is not going to be available the end of next week. The 2.5 gallons will be first. So again, if you just get notified here, once I set inventory, you will be able to, you'll know, and you'll be able to order yours, and it'll be shipped out to you. So this time next week, they should be on their way to the first people that actually order it. So not much longer, RVA. It's going to be soon. All right, next up we have the notorious Azaz. He says, good evening, Ron. I plan on scalping, aerating, and sand top dressing on Friday next week. My third app of PGR was scheduled for this Saturday, half spoon feeding rate. Should I wait until after this work is done or go ahead and apply it? Thank you, sir. It really depends on you. So the thing is, I can tell you from my experience, my lawn for the past four or 5 years, every time you've seen it being top dressed, it's been under regulation when it was top dressed. Having said that, like, I don't go heavy. Like, whenever I top dress my lawn, you guys see it doesn't take my lawn but a week or two to grow through it to where I'm able to get out there and start mowing it again. If it's your first time and you want the lawn to recover as quickly as possible, it would be better for it to not be under regulation. If you don't care, meaning you're like, hey, I am going to go light, I'm not going to go crazy. In other words, I'm not going to top dress. I'm not going to be on that Jason Harrison life. If you're planning on doing this, then no, I wouldn't have the lawn under growth regulation. If you're planning on top dressing and it looks something more like, I don't know, we've got any more top dressing pictures here. It looks more like this when you're done with it. Like Alex, if you're doing like what Alex is doing, if it's gonna look like that, then I wouldn't be mad at you if you left the lawn under regulation when you top dress it. So it really depends on how much restraint you're gonna have as far as how much material you put down. The only thing having growth regulator on the lawn really does that's an adverse thing is it can take the lawn longer to grow through. So it's really up to you. It's not like you're going to do any permanent damage. It's not like it won't ever grow through. It will just take longer. So it's really your call. It's really your call as far as which way you go. If it were me, like if I were top dressing my lawn this year, or if I were having a service top dressing my lawn this year, it would still be under growth regulator. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop putting applying a new and primo to it while that's happening. I would just make sure that they go light. All right. Next up, we have Higgy Pop is in the live stream. He says, "Hey, Ron, happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy the mow. Have a great weekend. Hit the like button. It is free. Thank you so much, Higgy. I appreciate that." 2 Trillion Manila says, "Hey, Ron and Stripe Action Gang. Happy Friday." And then next we have Matt the Mailman. He says, "Second question. I want to spray Poa trivialis in my lawn with Spectracide." Okay, I'm assuming it's labeled for that. I don't know if Spectracide is labeled for Poa trivialis, but I'm assuming it is because you said you're going to use that. When would be the best time of the year to spray it, and do you know how long it would take for the grass to recover from that? I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know. I've never used Spectracide to try to control Poa triv. I've never even tried it for Poa annual, so I don't know how well it would work for either of those. The best time of year is whenever the Poa triv is actively growing, so now would likely be fine. As far as how long for the grass to recover, I'm assuming that that your grass type is one that is labeled that you're supposed to be using Spectracide on, because there's different bottles. If you're using the orange bottle, like there's an orange, there's a purple, which one you're using. I'm assuming you're using the one that is correct for your particular grass type. If you are spraying it at the right rates, meaning you're not getting out there and soaking an area of the lawn, it really shouldn't be that bad. You may get a little bit of discoloration, but nothing that it won't grow through in a week or two. So maybe not even a week or two, a week. It really shouldn't be discolored that long. So there's a lot of it depends in this one, Matt. One, I don't know if Spectracide is labeled to control Poa triv. Again, assuming it is, go ahead and use that. And assuming that it's safe for your grass type, then and you apply it properly, there shouldn't be a lot of damage to your lawn. So those are the things I would see. Double, triple check the label. Make sure that it is labeled for that, and that it is also labeled to safe for use on your lawn. So hope that helps, sir. Just be careful. Don't overdo it. Don't like sit there and soak one area of the lawn or make multiple passes over the one area, because that is going to cause some damage. Oliver Rittum is up next. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. No chance to watch the stream tonight. Currently core aerating after getting 3 inches of rain this week. Wish me luck. Cross his fingers. Good luck, sir. Good luck." That's a good time to do it. You got plenty of rain, so the ground should be softer. So I hear you. You can just listen in, or you can watch after the fact. Get out there and get your core aeration on. Take pictures, man. Take pictures so we can see what it looks like afterwards. Next up, we have Brian West. He says, "I love the look of deep green, kind of dark grass. What should I be planting in Richmond, Virginia, Zone 7A? I mean, most grasses will meet that. You want like deep green, dark grass. Like pretty much any grass can look a nice, dark, deep green. So do you like taller grass? You like more like fuller grasses, like a big like shag carpet? Then fescue, if you like, or a fescue of some sort, like tall type of fescue or a fine fescue. If you like a shortcut grass, then like a Kentucky bluegrass, or even a Kentucky bluegrass or a ryegrass would be a better choice. It depends on, outside of color, like what kind of lawn do you want? Do you want a taller lawn? Do you want a shorter lawn? And that is what would be a driver as far as the grass that you go with. For me, it would be one of the cool season grasses. So Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, or fescue of some sort. One of those would be a good choice. All of them can get nice and dark green. All of them can be pretty. It's really just a matter of, which one, when you visually look at it, do you like better? And then I would go with that. Robert Thomas says, what's going on, Robert? He says, "Ron, when I put down my first app of Hydrotain, will it get me through the summer in East Central Ohio? I have a fescue rye mix, or should I put on a second app in about 6 weeks?" Yeah, Robert. So the folks from Hydrotain, or the folks that make it at College Hill, they say that Hydrotain will work for up to 90 days. I apply it every 60 days, so every 2 months. So we will split the difference. You're looking at 6 weeks. That's probably a bit soon. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything, but it's probably a bit sooner than you need to. I would lean more towards every 2 months. So between 6 to 8 weeks is when I would do your second app, if you want to ensure that you're covered on your lawn in Central Ohio. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. And good job using moisture managers. They are a great tool for keeping your lawn in looking its best. So keep me posted. Plus, in being in Ohio, you guys shouldn't have crazy. I mean, it'll be hot, but you guys shouldn't have crazy heat like we have down here. So I imagine every 2 months should work fairly well for you. William L is up next. He says, "Good evening, Ron. What 20-inch reel mower would you recommend to back up my Revolution 26? It must have a split rear drum and be all chain drive." Mm. I don't know. I'm trying to think here. Has to be chain driven. A rear drum, chain driven. True cut, no. McLean, no. Trimmer, no. I mean, you can get a Greensmaster. You can get, I think they make, is it 18 or 20 inch? I'm not sure what they have. I think it's 20 inch is a small one, right? Toro makes a 26 inch, which is the one I have, and they make one that is either, I think it's 20 inch. It's either 18 or 20 inch. How wide? You know what? It's gonna drive me crazy. How wide is 1800? Let's see. It's probably 18 inch width of cut. And yeah, 18 inch. I think it's 18 inch cutting width. It looks like, it sounds like. Yeah. So I don't know what is chain driven that meets those requirements. You can get yourself, I mean, again, a Greensmaster, they make one that's around 18 to 20 inches. That would be a good backup. John Deere, I'm sure, makes ones that are in that area. I don't believe any of those are chain driven, though. They're either gears, they either have gears that drive them, or they are or belt driven. They have a gearbox or they're belt driven. And yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't have a hard position on the chain drive thing, man. I mean, I have 2 mowers. I have 3 mowers, and only one of them is the Revolution is the only one currently that's chain driven, and it runs great. But the Greensmaster and the Owlet also run great. The one benefit that chain drive gets you is that you probably a little bit less maintenance, like you don't have to replace belts or anything. But they tend to be a bit quieter. And given that this is your backup mower, does it really matter? Does it have to be a chain? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna be running this mower all the time and running it hard. It's your backup mower, like while the Revolution is getting worked on or whatever. So I would look at like a Greensmaster, like a smaller Greensmaster or a smaller John Deere. That is what I would do. That's what I would do, because they both have the rear drum. They're both going to cut great, and the only requirement they don't have, I think, is the chain drive that you're after. But I think that I wouldn't use that as a holdout for getting either one of those mowers. Andre Taylor's up next. He says, "Good evening, Ron and Golf Course Lawn community. Happy Friday. No questions today, just tuning in to the great content." Appreciate you, Andre. And then next up, we have Michael Raymond. He says, it's a good question. I like this. He says, Michael Raymond has a question. He says, "Any issues running the 22.3 with the new micronutrient offering? I'm out of carbon kit and running low on Nutrizolve. I need to reload ASAP." No issues, Michael. I would back the rate down. So kind of like whenever I was using Nutrizolve along with Turfplex, like the rate for Nutrizolve is 6 ounces per 1,000, right? If you're mixing Nutrizolve along with Turfplex, I would run it at 3 ounces per 1,000. Reason being is that Turfplex already has some micros in it, and same is also true for the new 22.3 fertilizer. It also has micros in it. So yes, you can use the micronutrient fertilizer that we offer along with this to also get your boron, your copper, to get a little bit more iron if you want. But I wouldn't apply it at full label rates, which are 6 ounces per 1,000. To answer your question, yes, you can mix them. I would just simply reduce the rate slightly before you do so. That's the only thing I would say. And then the 22.3, you're going to be able to get that the end of next week if all goes to plan. That's what I'm hearing. We should be good to go. Again, I'll send out an email blast. Go to the product description. Go here and click on the notify when available. The big red button there that says that. If you click on that, that is literally the fastest way to know once it's in stock. Because literally as soon as I set it in stock, you guys will automatically get the message, and you'll be good to go as far as trying out that, or not trying out, like using that good on your lawn. You're gonna like it. I think you guys are really gonna like it. I'm I'm really proud of the product. I'm really happy that, again, that Anderson's didn't get sick of me, because I did ask a lot of them. I'm like, no, we gotta. It says, well, I said it's got to mix with Primo, it's got to mix with all this stuff. They said it's gonna be fine. I'm like, yeah, but I gotta test it. Because it's gonna have golf course lawn on it. It's gonna have my name on it, and I want to make sure the product that you guys are using is good. It's a quality one, and I'm very happy with it. You guys have commented on the appearance of the lawn, and that is due in part to the new nutrients, the new fertilizers. So thanks for the question, Michael. Not too much longer to wait, and you'll be able to get it here soon. All right, next up we have Chris Golder. He says, for hybrid Bermuda such as Tipway 419, is there any advantages to a slightly higher height of cut, approximately 3/4 of an inch versus 1/2 inch, besides being able to mow less frequently? Yes. So there are advantages. So by going from 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, the color is going to be better. Because you are not mowing as frequently, you are less likely to have disease problems in the lawn. The stripes are also going to look better. And those are the main ones that are top of mind. Less chance for disease issues, colors better, stripes are better, and the mowing requirements are also reduced. So hope that helps, Chris. Those are the top ones that come to mind as far as why you would go with 3/4 of an inch versus 1/2 an inch or shorter with a Tipway 419 Bermuda lawn. It's a good question, and I'll tell you, I've done it. I've tried it. I've done under 1/2 inch. I've done the under 1/2 inch thing for a season, probably 3 years ago at this point, and it looks cool. The cool thing about it is that, again, if you take a golf ball and like throw it, and it will literally roll out like you're on a golf course, which is kind of cool. But outside of that, the color isn't as good. It doesn't stripe as good. You have to mow it a lot. You're always out there mowing, so I don't think it's worth it personally. I think there are more downsides to maintaining a lawn that short versus going a little bit taller. We're talking about like a quarter. Again, if you look at this, even if you went a little bit higher, like if you look at my lawn as it sits now, that's between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch, right? So that's like between 0.62 and 0.75. That's what you're looking at there, and it looks good. The color looks great. The lawn doesn't have disease problems in it. The stripes are on point. Like most people, are not gonna have a problem with that. Like that's gonna look, if you have a lawn that looks like that, your lawn is gonna be one of the better ones in your neighborhood. Outside of like if you have another like lawn care nerd like you that's also there, like 3/4 of an inch, you're gonna be tough to compete with. Most people are not gonna be able to pull that off. So, hope that helps for you, Chris. If you need anything else, let me know. Guys, I got another picture here that I want to share with you guys. This one is from our old friend, Mr. Ted Rogers. Now, you guys remember the story with Ted. Ted did the fescue renovation last season, and he wanted to send a picture of his stripe action to show you guys that even though fescue is mowed taller, it too can stripe and look pretty. So for the gentleman that was asking the question earlier, that was in Virginia, take a look at fescue, what it can look like when cared for properly. I would argue that color looks incredible. The stripes look great. So really the question you're asking yourself is, do you want a taller lawn or do you want a shorter lawn? Because pretty much all grass can look really nice if it's cared for properly. Next up, we got Fresh Apples. He says, go Dogs. I like it. RV18 says, when applying our granular ferts, I realize how to measure nitrogen amount, but how do you measure the nitrogen when it's in liquid form? Thanks for your time. Yeah, so the easy way I would say, RV8, is on the label for most products. Like we do that on all of our fertilizers. It will tell you how much nitrogen you're putting in given a particular rate. So for example, at 6 ounces per 1,000, this is putting out a tenth of a pound of nitrogen. These higher rates I don't use, but they're just on here for completeness. If you go up to 7.5 ounces, you get 0.125, so a little bit higher. And then if you go 15 ounces per 1,000, which is a lot, you're putting out 1/4 of a pound of nitrogen per 1,000. So, a good fertilizer will have a chart like this on it that will tell you this much liquid, this much pounds of N per thou. S Flood says, yes, you lowered it. Yeah, I lowered it to 3 times. I was watering 5 times per week, 15 minutes at a time, twice a week, LOL. Yeah, so I would say lower, in your case, reduce the watering. You went from 5 to 3. Let's ride this out for a couple of weeks and see how the lawn looks. If it's still looking good and the disease problems are getting better, you may either leave it there at 3 times per week, or you may even try twice per week. I'm just saying, you may not have to put that much water on the lawn. An inch to an inch and a half is really all it needs this time of year to look good. So lower water bills, less disease problems. It's a win-win. Brian Hall says, hey, Ron, I usually cut my grass at 2 inches high. I will be top dressing my lawn. So does that mean I need to cut to an inch lower than I usually cut it at? You don't have to, but it's going to be a lot easier to spread the top dressing mix if you do. So even if you want to maintain it at 2 inches, if you can reduce the height of cut to apply the top dressing, and again, I'm answering this question because I'm assuming you have a grass that will tolerate that. I'm assuming you got like Bermuda or zoysia or some other grass that you can cut shorter and not kill it by doing so. But yes, you're going to find it like worlds easier to work the top dressing material into the canopy if the grass is at 1 inch versus if it's at 2 inches. So I absolutely would do that if you can. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Make your life a lot easier. You're going to be a lot less angry, a lot less swearing, and it's just going to, and overall the result's going to get better. Because what tends to happen is if you try and top dress a longer lawn, longer grass, instead of the material settling in, it tends to kind of clump up and just kind of stay on top of the grass. And you can get leveling rake and you kind of move it around and break it up and kind of work it in, but it's just a lot more work, and ultimately the result just isn't as good as if you just cut the grass a little bit shorter. That way it doesn't take nearly as much for it to settle into the canopy. When you water it when it's shorter, it's also going to settle in a bit better. So for top dressing, there's a whole lot of reasons to just to go shorter, I would say. You can always go back up to 2 inches afterwards once you're done if you want, but I would definitely get it lower than shorter than 2. You can go back to 2 inches when you're done, but I would get it shorter than that while you are top dressing. Our Fragrance Journey, another one's coming around, man. Saying go, a Dogs fan. I like it. It says, what's up, Ron? Go Dogs. I like it. Well done, sir. Look, we got Kenny. He's leaving LSU. He's getting rid of that purple and can get that red and black. And you too, you're gonna get rid of the crimson. You're coming over to the dark side as well too. I like it, man. You guys are coming around. Not only grass, the live stream is also helping you guys improve your taste in football teams. It's a good thing. It's public service. All right, Brew Crew Fishing's up next. He says, hey, Ron, so much rain in Texas. I have not even ran my sprinklers this year. Oh, you know what? So everyone in Texas, when you guys start getting drought, it's his fault. He was mocking it. He was like saying, oh, I got so much rain. I don't know what I'm doing with all this water. Fair or not, that's going to change soon. He says, I'd like to get down growth regulator, but the frequent rains are preventing me. Is there a time frame to wait to spray before and after rain? Yeah, ideally you don't want do on the lawn is fine. Like I spray my growth regulator most of the time in the morning when there is dew, but you want they say a couple of hours, but I would say 4 hours. Give yourself if you get 4 hours of dry weather, that's gonna be good. You'll be good to go then. And even with all the rain you're getting, you should be able to find or get like a period where it's 4 hours of dry weather in your lawn. You know what I'm saying? So if you can find that in the forecast, get out there and get it done. And don't complain about rainfall in Texas. Come on, man. You guys, I tell you, in a month from now, you guys are going to be crying. You're going to remember this conversation. You're going to say, I should have never said that. And there you go. See, just don't do it. It's not good. Don't mock Mother Nature. All right, so next up we have the hardest part is figuring out where I left off. Next we have got fresh apples. He says, Rip, I thought I'd get a question of the week. Maybe I'll get it next week. Yeah, so the question of the week, if you ask a question related to Miramichi Green products, that's going to give you a better chance of winning question of the week, because they do supply this. Like they're paying for these shirts. So I want to make sure that, when I'm giving them away, it's for people that are asking a question about, hey, how do I apply this product? Or what's a use case for it? Something novel. Don't ask me like, what is biospectrum? Or what is, I guess you could ask like, what are use cases for biospectrum? But like, if you say like, what's in the carbon kit? That's like a low effort question. So like a question that shows you put some thought into it. One that even stumps me. That's also a great way to get a shirt too. That's related to Miramichi products. So fair, not fresh apples. If you stick around long enough, you'll likely get yourself a shirt. G Freeze in the house. He says, hey, Ron, Stripe Action Gang. A great Friday Q&A. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much. And then next up, we got Cody Davis. Cody Davis. He says, how far deep into the soil should I go when checking temperatures in Central Florida and at 2 to 3 inches deep in the high 80s? Yeah, that's about what I do. This is the probe. I can find it here. This is the meat thermometer, aka soil temperature probe that I use, and whenever I put it in, I go down to about, you said 2 to 3 inches. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, about like right there. That's how far down I go. And yeah, so if you're 80 degrees, I wouldn't be surprised at that. It's Florida. It does get hot, and it just kind of stays hot. So yeah, 2 to 3 inches is a good good depth, Cody. That's where I always check mine. So yeah, that is just fine. All right, Toucan Sam is up next. He says, hey, Ron, how often do you change directions when mowing to prevent those wheel lines in your yard? Great question, Toucan Sam. I change it every time I mow. So, for example, if we take a look at the lawn now, so if right now you're seeing the stripes that are going to and from the house, like I'll mow that way one time, and then the next time I will mow lengthwise. So I will mow in a second here. You'll see when it comes up, I will mow like that way, like facing Alex's, like stripes in this direction. So every single time I alternate the mowing direction. So hope that helps. Sir. And that's a good way to help prevent wear. But to your point, because I mow double wides, right? And you can kind of make them out because I mow double wides in the middle. So at the ends of each double wide and in the middle of the stripe, you can barely make out like where the roller, the ends of the roller is running. And that is something really you're just going to fix with top dressing. So that's a case where even though a lawn looks good, top dressing will help restore the smoothness from the wear that a mower will put on it when you're mowing in the same pattern time and time again. So it's just part of it, man. Just you'll have to, I would say alternate it each time you mow, and that's going to reduce the amount of wear marks that you see in the lawn. And using a mower with a front roller and a rear drum is also going to reduce wear marks. Probably the worst setup would be like what the True Cut or the trimmer, like the donut in the back or the True Cut does, where you have the weight supported by a smaller surface area. So you got like 2 big wheels in the back from the True Cut. Like that's going to leave like a noticeable marks in the lawn versus if you have the weight distributed with a roller or a rear drum. So hope that helps. Good question. And if you need anything else, do let me know. All right, moving on. We now have GT. No, we already answered the Porsche question. We got No Name. He says, got some good news. My lost soil spring tester showed up at my soil. Oh, cool. So it was taking forever to get there, and it finally got to them. That's cool. Nice. JS says, hey, Ron, if Fresh Apples is a teen and taking care of the lawn and chiming in on your show, he is serious. My neighbor's teen, I've never touched a lawnmower that I know of. Mad props to Apples. That's what I'm saying, man. If for being a teenager and you're into lawn care and you're also here on live stream trying to learn some stuff, this is props for that. Hopefully your parents are like supporting that, because that's good. Like that is very rare. Very, very, very rare. So it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. Cody Davis is up next. He says, what part of the year is the best time to renovate the lawn? I have St. Augustine and want to kill it and go Bermuda. Gonna be with seeds simply because of the cost. Okay, Cody, yeah. So now would be a good time to do it. Like this time of year, the soil temperatures are where they need to be. Bermuda will grow very aggressively, and now would be a great time of year to do it. On the topic of cost, keep in mind that the price of the grass seed is only part of it. There's also the amount of water that you're going to have to use. It does take more to establish Bermuda from seed than to simply sod it. It's going to take more water to do that. So just be sure to factor that in. But as far as your question goes, if you want to switch from St. Augustine to Bermuda this time of year, late May, early June is a good time to go ahead and do that. Just be prepared to water enough to get good germination. All right. So, and again, if I can convince you, if your lawn is like not terribly big, then I would just say go sod. It's way easier, way faster. I mean, my lawn is like 12,000 square feet. And if it were me, if I were going to go do a renovation, I would do sod. I would not grow the entire lawn from seed. I would just do sod. I would just wait and sod it. Next up, we got Joe Cox. He says, good evening, Ron. Hope you're doing well. I'm well. Can't complain, Joe. Thank you for asking. What are your thoughts on applying chicken fertilizer to my Bermuda? It's an option. It's going to smell. It's going to smell. But as far as like a fertilizer for your lawn, it'll work if you've got access to it and it fits what you're looking for in a fertilizer. Yeah, I don't see any real problem with it. Just matters if you like that as an option. I personally think you would do better to go with a blended product. Like, I mean, if you look at the fertilizers that we carry from Lebanon and the Golf Course Lawn Store, these are not just straight fertilizers. Like, all of these are what I would consider to be combination products, and that they all have humic acid, they all have kelp. A couple of them also have micronutrient in them as well. So I prefer these to just a chicken, like chicken feces product. I mean, even the Miramichi Organic, if you wanted a more organic option, this also has humate and silica and a microbial package. So it's not just one thing. So unless you got access to it for really inexpensively, I would lean more towards a blended product. I think that you get more out of it than just simply going with just like the chicken manure. But to answer your question, nothing wrong with it. If you want to go with that, by all means, go for it. Go for it. If you like it, I love it. That's what I would say. All right. Next up, we have Jim Schmid is in the house. He says, thank God it's Friday, Ron. Thanks for all the epic info. As always, do you do a true preventative fungicide plan with liquid or granular throughout the season? I said I was going to this year, then I didn't. Then I got my butt kicked while on vacay. # backpedaling. If you do, can you elaborate? If not, can you recommend for the year? I do that, Jim, and I do have a plan. So I apply preventative fungicides at 2 different times throughout the year. I do an application in the late spring, early summer, so May, June timeframe, and then again in the late fall in October, November. The reason for the spring application is to help prevent diseases like large patch, brown patch, pretty much diseases that can become a problem in your lawn when we start getting more higher temperatures, the humidity from all the rain we tend to get this time of year. It just helps prevent disease issues when conditions are such that for them to really take root in your lawn. The fall fungicide applications for me are really all about preventing spring dead spot. So in years past, I've had problems with that in my lawn. Ever since I've gone to a fall fungicide app, I do 2, again, one in October, one at the beginning of October and one in November. That does a lot as far as keeping spring dead spot away. Like every year it's gotten better and better and better. And this year I've had none, which is good. Now, as far as your question about where do I have that in my plan? As a matter of fact, I do. So if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store and you go to resources and then to lawn care schedule, right here is a month by month breakdown. And in this, you will see for the month of May, your first spring fungicide application. And then in June, your second fungicide application. And if you roll down here to October, you'll see your first fungicide application, and then in November, your second fungicide application. So it's all in here. And because I want to make it easy for you, I'll send you a link to where you can pick it up. But literally from February till November, it has you covered as far as inputs that I find produce a great result. There's lots of people that follow this plan and they grow amazing lawns with it. So I'll link that here in the chat for you, Jim. I'll just call this lawn plan. Our lawn product calendar. How about that? That's even easier. Calendar. Boom. Okay. So there you go, Jim. It's linked there in the chat for you, and everyone else should be able to get it. And if you need anything else, let me know. Next up, we have Chris Norton. He says, I've got Bermuda hybrid Tiff Tough. It got too tall last year, so I scalped it in April. Now it's got some bare spots. I've been pushing it hard with N and Green County RGS. They're not filling in. Why? Okay, so you said you're pushing it hard with N. Like what fertilizer are you using? Like what nitrogen are you using to try and push growth? And then the thing you didn't tell me is how often are you mowing? So to get Bermuda to fill in, really mow it shorter and mow it frequently. And that is going to encourage that lateral spreading that's going to cause it to thicken up. So nitrogen, does it help? Absolutely. Using like I think that's a biostimulant that they have. Is that going to help? Absolutely. But I mean, as far as things to do to help to promote lateral spread in Bermuda grass, mowing it shorter, mowing it frequently, and using growth regulator. So like Primo or New are also going to help promote lateral spread. It's going to help the lawn to thicken up. So case in point, what I'm talking about here, Chris, if you look at if you go to shop and then lawn fertilizer and you look at the label, you look at Primo Max. So to give you an example of how it helps the lawn thicken up, because the grass is growing less stem, but more leaf, you tend to, in the same area, the same amount of like space, there's more leaf. So the lawn appears fuller and thicker. And this is a great example to illustrate it. So this is the two pieces of Bermuda grass, same lawn, one no Primo Max, one with Primo Max, and you can see the difference. And however big that is, that 2-3 inches section of grass, you can see there's not that much leaf on the left option, on the left grass sample, and then on the right, you can see how much more leaf there is. So as far as helping promote the lawn to thicken up, coupled with regular mowing at shorter heights, growth regulator is another tool that you can use as well. So that's what I would tell you. I'm just saying you've been pushing it hard with N. Again, I'm really not a fan, or I don't recommend like overdoing it with nitrogen. You can also create more problems than you solve by doing that. Again, regular mowing, shorter heights, use growth regulator, and then feed a balanced diet of Ns. For Bermuda, a pound of N on the high end is what I would do. No more than that. And over time, the lawn is going to thicken up. This time of year, it really shouldn't take very much time to do that. It really shouldn't take long at all. So if you're looking to get some Primo, we carry it here on the store, and hopefully that helps answer your question as far as how to get it to thicken up. So hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, let me know. Next up, we have Isaac Montparnasse. He says, hit that smash the like button. It's free. I appreciate that, Isaac. Thank you for all the love and support, sir. And then next, we have a question here from Instagram. He says, can you get St. Augustine to look like a golf fairway, or will cutting that short in Florida kill it? You get to look like a fairway, not really. I mean, no. I mean, here's the thing. Last week, you guys remember that question I got last week, that setup question where someone was saying, Ron, if you had to pick a grass that you hate the most of all grasses, which one do you like? And everyone started recording, so they'd be able to hear which grass I dislike. And I said, of the grasses, I don't hate any grass, but of the grasses, I don't really care for taller grass. So fescue, while it's pretty, not my favorite. St. Augustine, I personally don't really care for it that much. I think it looks too much like crabgrass personally, but again, I'm in the minority on that one, I'm sure. But to answer your question, as far as mowing it shorter, it doesn't do well at the heights that you would associate with a golf course fairway. So for example, my lawn is at between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch. St. Augustine is not going to do well being mowed at those heights. It's just not. So if you want that look, then you're gonna have to switch to something else like zoysia or Bermuda. But again, you can make St. Augustine look really good. Look at Alan's lawn. Look at Lawn Care Nest's lawn. His lawn looks really good, and it's St. Augustine. But you just have to like that longer, like more crunchy look to their grass, right? And if you like that, then it's good. But if you want that fairway look, if you want the fairway, then you need a grass that's designed to be cut at shorter heights, like Bermuda, zoysia. Yeah, those two. That's what I would go with. Between those would be my first options for warm season turf grass. So hope that helps. Sorry, hope I didn't pop your balloon, but yeah. At any rate, also too, leading back up to what I was saying last week, I said St. Augustine is my least favorite. This one person sent me a picture of his lawn saying, "Hey man, I got St. Augustine. I real mow it, and I'm mowing it at like I think he said like an inch or whatever it was, and it looked decent. I wish I'd saved it, see if I could find it." But he sent me a picture. He said, "Yeah, Ron, I know you said you don't like St. Augustine, but I wanted to let you know that it can look good." And oh wait, yeah, this is well, this is it. But this must be the wrong one because I don't see the pictures. But he sent me an email because I won't say he was offended, but he just wanted to let me know that St. Augustine can look decent, even when being real mode. So I can find the picture and show you guys. No, for some reason it's not showing up. I mean, this is the one because it was sent last week, but it's not rendering in my browser now. I'm not sure what's going on. At any rate, wrong grass if you want a true fairway look. You want to go with a different grass type. So next up is Grasshopper Lawn Care in Georgia. Says, "Happy Friday, Ron. What's going on, Grasshopper?" And then next we got Mars Beads. Says, "Hey, Ron, I'm in Middle Tennessee and have tall fescue and have an area about 15 feet by 5 feet that is just clay dirt. I had drainage put in. What do I need to lay down before putting down grass seed? Thanks." Yeah, so I would do, if you're fine with putting out like raking it in, I would do carbonized PN. So 15 by 5, one bag would be plenty. This is what I would do if you're gonna do grass seed. Go to shop and then Miramichi Green Biostimulants and get yourself a bag of carbonized PN. And this is what I would apply. This is gonna help the lawn, the seeds establish faster. If you were doing sod, it would help it root in faster. It's really good stuff. One bag of this is gonna be more than enough to do over that 15 by 5 foot section of lawn. So this is what I would go with. So, but I mean, I'm sorry you have to deal with that damage from getting the drainage installed. But hey, sometimes you have to take a step backwards to take 2 steps forward. So hopefully they did a good job, and you're never gonna have to revisit this again. And now once you put your grass seed in and it grows in, you'll be off for the races, right? But that's what I would say. I would put down a good quality compost. If you can also do, depending on the grass seed, some grass seed has fertilizer with it, but if you're also looking for a fertilizer, I would recommend our Complete 14-7-14. So I will send you that as well. So carbonized PN and this, and you'll be good to go. And outside that, put down your grass seed, water it, and just wait for it to grow in. Fescue is not a tough one to grow, so that's a definite plus. Okay, next up we have Marquette Vlogs. It says California Trimmer Catalyst has both. So what? Oh, rear drum and chain driven. Oh, okay. But is it available yet? I'm not sure. Is it even a thing? I know they've announced it, but is it even a thing yet? I haven't seen anything on YouTube or anything about it. So I don't know. But yeah, maybe that's an option for you if you want a mower that has a rear drum and chain driven. I didn't realize that it was chain driven, and I didn't realize that it was launched as yet. So there is that. Kenny Cadell says, "I got my soil test back as I'm watching the show. My pH is high, 7.2, and the phosphorus is low. Looking for some products on the website. So you can use Magical, Kenny. We have that on the store. You can also use to lower your pH. I've got a product here that I send you guys quite a bit, which is from Earth Science. This is what I would send you. So I'll give you a couple of options. You can use this. Kenny, you know, I gotta tell you, man, as a sidebar, I mean, all jokes aside, this new avatar with the SEC logo is much more becoming. Like, I just, like, my blood pressure is lower. I mean, I think for some reason, it is, even when I see you now on the screen, you just look a lot more distinguished. I think that this is a man of taste, a man of refinement. It's just I think you should stick with this one personally. I wouldn't go back to the one that you had before. This is a much better avatar. But anyway, I digress. As far as sulfur to lower your pH, this is an option 1. And then on the store, we also have Magical, which is here. Soil pH adjustments to lower soil pH, this one. You can also do that. So I'll send you that. And then as far as raising your phosphorus, Kenny, so that is option there. And then as far as raising your phosphorus, the 14-7-14. So this has some phosphorus in it, also has some nitrogen, some potassium. So it's a great all-around fertilizer for feeding your lawn, but also bringing the phos levels up as you are, as you're feeding it this season. So you might just run this for, I mean, we're already in June, so June, July. You might just run this for the rest of the season, for the next 3 months or so. And it's a great balanced fertilizer for feeding your lawn and also raising, again, your phosphorus levels, which is what you're after. I'll send you a link for that as well in the chat, and then you should be all good to go, sir. All good to go. All right, next up is William L. He said, yeah, perhaps I should have said anything other than a belt drive, okay? I had a California trimmer and did not care for their belt drive. What about a Rolex? This is my opinion. I am not a fan of the Rolex. Whenever Lee was looking at different mowers last year, maybe even the year before then, because it's just been a while since he's been developing the Revolution. The base of the Rolex was one of the ones that he considered, and I really do not like the handlebars on that mower. It's like an old school, like how the handlebars on an old school bicycle, where instead of the handlebars being in front like this, your hands are like this. And because of that, and again, I mowed with the mower for a while when we were testing it out. It just makes it too easy to put even just a little bit of downward pressure and cause the mower to come off the surface. I don't know if they fixed that, because that's feedback that I think Lee gave to them whenever he decided to not use the Rolex as the one as the basis for the Revolution. But the example that I mowed with, I did not like, because you have to be really careful. You almost have to you have to be really cognizant of not pressing down on the mower at all when you're moving it forward, because it will come off. It will cause the front to come off the surface, and it's just going to create cutting problems. It's not going to cut evenly by doing that. Again, they may have fixed that, but the example that I had was not great. So not really a fan of it for that reason. I don't like the handlebars. So, all right. Next up is Nadika. Nadika, she says, hey, Ron, what is the email address to send pictures to get advice on my lawn? It is ron@golfcourselawn.com. So this one right here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Send pictures there. So here's the thing. If you're going to send me pictures of your lawn for, to help to get some guidance, make it concise, make it short. Don't write a whole book, because I get a lot of email. And if I open an email and it's the Bible and the Old Testament and New Testament, I just it goes to the bottom of the pile, because generally you can ask a question in a paragraph or two along with pictures, and I can give you some guidance. But if you just have a bunch of extra stuff in there, it's not helpful. So that's my email address. I would send it there along with pictures of the problem that you're having, and I'll do my best to help you out. All right. Next up, SB says it looks fantastic. Looks fantastic. Are you talking about my lawn? I think I like it, man. It looks okay. I mean, it's getting to the point. We're about to enter the 3-week period of the year when I look at the lawn and I say, this is good. It looks good. I'm happy with it. We're about to enter that time of year. We're getting there. So not quite there yet, but it's getting close. It's getting close. It is getting close. Next up, we have Ted. He says, never would have been able to achieve this if it hadn't been for Ron Henry. That's not true. If you didn't do the work, I can promise you, Ted, if you had like watched my content and not got out there and, you know, did the full renovation work and top dressed it and put out the grass seed and watered it and nurtured it and all that, it would have never have a lawn that looks like this. So while I did help with some information, I mean, you had to do the work. So don't sell yourself short. Doing the thing is a big part of it. Big part. Chris says, thanks for answering my question. I had a question, and for all you do. You're very welcome, Chris. And then next up, we says, what would you recommend as far as a fertilizing on a yard with a decent slope? I feel that my granulars get washed away when it rains. Yeah, so use a fertilizer with a smaller prill. So what I'm talking about is if we go back to the golf course lawn store and you choose any of these three, any of these three would be a good option. If you look at the prill size on Humic Max, which if we go here, you can see I used to have a diamond here, but it's actually covered up with the SGN number. Actually, we'll do it this way. I can even do a better example for you. This is the size of your regular fertilizer prill, right? So this is what the stuff that you're worried about running off of your slope. This is like a 210 SGN. So this is like standard fertilizer in your big box stores. Most fertilizers you buy online, this is the size you're dealing with. Humic Max, which is the one I just showed you, is this guy. So this is 150 SGN. So this is 210, 150. So quite a bit smaller. And for reference, this is the tip of a pen, so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is tip of a pen. You can see the size of the prill compared to that, and tip of a pen, and you can see the size of the prill compared to, come on, autofocus, compared to that. But wait, there's more. If this is too big for you, then you could go to one of the greens grade fertilizers, which is in the complete 14714 or the 12024. Now comparing, I'm sure I can do this, not drop this on all over my keyboard. So if you look at the size of this guy compared to this, you can see that this is almost like a powder. It's really fine. This is our greens grade fertilizers, and this is an 80 SGN. So the two fertilizers that meet this size are, show you here. So Humic Max is the one that I just showed you. That's the 150 SGN. That's this guy. And then the other ones, these two, the complete 14714 or the stress 12024. So how would you choose between these two? If your soil test results show that you don't need phosphorus, go with this one. If you do need phosphorus, then go with this one. So either one will work, but really, unless you need to put phosphorus in the soil, I don't recommend that you do that. So, but either one of these, as far as working on a sloped lawn, they'll all work well. Even Humic Max, like this will work. I mean, this is what I use on my lawn. I applied this yesterday. Literally, this is what was on my lawn. I put this out yesterday on my lawn. So it's what I use all over. Like the entire lawn got this, the slope, the back lawn, all of it. And it doesn't wash out. I don't have problems with it washing out or anything like that. So you can do this one, or if your slope is even more extreme than mine, you could go with one of the greens grade fertilizers. These will not wash away. Like literally you'll apply them and they just disappear. You're not going to see the prill on the grass like you do with your more traditional fertilizers. So hope that helps, Sukan Sam. I'll send you a link right here to where you can find those, because you're probably asking yourself, where can I find this awesomeness that you speak of, this witchcraft that you speak of? You can find it there. All right, so we got a couple more super chats. Let me go grab those really quick. This one is from Ted Rogers first. Thanks so much, Ted.
Super chat received.
He says, slowly raising my height a cut in preparation for summer. I have turf type tall fescue. I'm going from 3.5 inches to 4 inches. Thanks, my man. Sounds good, Ted. I like it. Color looks awesome. Keep going. And then we have CK Play 99. Thank you for the super chat.
Super chat received.
He said, I just received my Release 901C and I think you're saying Primo Max. And Primo Max for my zoysia under recommendation. Should I add surfactant and can I mix iron at the same time? Can you add iron? Yes. Should you add surfactant? No, not necessary. Not necessary. So Release 901C and Release 0 are going to enhance uptake by themselves. There's no need to use surfactant with them at all. So if you're mixing, you can mix Primo, obviously the Carbon Kit, Release 901C, NutriKelp, and BioSpectrum. along with whatever iron product you want to use. You can mix them all and spray them at the same time. No need to add surfactant. Don't add surfactant. Not necessary. And then next up, we got Kenny Cadell.
Super chat.
He says, thanks for the advice tonight. Only 10 likes with 115 watching. They caught up, Kenny. I'm showing we're at 112 now. And you're right. I have the likes have finally picked up. So we're making progress. But I appreciate you leading the charge and getting them in order. Let's see here. Oh yeah. We have a question here from Mango Stumpy. He says, what was the Dawn ratio for moss? I remember you mentioning with your friend who's managing a course. Yeah, Mango, I think it was I believe it was 5, Devin, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe it was 5 ounces of Dawn in a 5-gallon bucket of water. I believe that's correct. I think it was 5 and 5 is what I remember. So Dawn, a 5-gallon bucket of water, and I believe that was it. But he will, I'm sure if I'm getting that wrong, he'll message me after the show and tell me, or if he's still here, he'll chime in. But that rings, that's in my mind for some reason, Mango. And if you want, because you're on Instagram, just send me a DM, send me a message on Instagram saying, hey, can you confirm with Devin what it is? And I'll confirm with him and I'll message you back. So that way, we're not guessing. So just, yeah, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll make sure you get the right info. But I believe it was 5 ounces and 5 gallons of water. All right. Next up we have Benny Gonzalez. He says, hello, Ron. My lawn is mixed with Bermuda and St. Augustine. On one side is mainly Bermuda and the other side is St. Augustine. So confused what to do or what to kill. Any thoughts? Well, what are you trying to solve for, Benny? Or do you want to keep the Bermuda or do you want to keep the St. Augustine? If you want to keep the Bermuda, you can use a herbicide called quinclorac to get rid of the St. Augustine. If you want to keep the St. Augustine and get rid of the Bermuda, you will use a herbicide combination called Recognition and Fusilade. So I'll show you both. One of them, you should be able to get both of them here soon. Quinclorac you can already get now, but Recognition and Fusilade should be available here shortly. So if you go to Golf Course Lawn Store and go to Weed Killer, this combination of Recognition and Fusilade, this is what's designed for removing Bermuda grass out of zoysia and out of St. Augustine grass. So this is the heart of the problem to solve, but this will do it. If you're trying to keep the Bermuda and get rid of the St. Augustine, you can use quinclorac for that. So this along with surfactant. So this kit is what I would use. So quinclorac, surfactant, some dye. This will selectively remove the St. Augustine out of your Bermuda. So it depends on which way you're trying to go. Because based on what you're saying, you got both of them. But I don't know which one you want to keep. So once you let me know which one you want to keep, you've got options for both. If you want to keep Bermuda, get rid of St. Augustine, quinclorac. If you want to keep St. Augustine, get rid of Bermuda, why? But if you do, then you could use Recognition and Fusilade to be able to pull that off. And I'll send you links here for both of those in the chat, and that will get you all squared away. So hope that helps, sir. All right. Glycan's Rule says, hey, Ron, just popping on to say hi from the great Pacific Northwest. What's going on, Glycan's Rule? Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you for coming by to say hello. GT3RS374 says, thanks for the great help, Ron. Glad to have found your channel and store to support someone in the lawn community. I appreciate that, GT3RS. And listen, just on the side, great taste in cars, man. The GT3RS is baller. It's sweet. Sweet cars. I always tell folks, if you're into cars, always buy the car if you can. Obviously, you got the finances to afford it. Buy the car the engineers wanted to build. And the GT series, like in particularly the RS series, are pretty sweet. They are pretty sweet. They're very, very cool cars. So if you got one, take care of it because they're pretty awesome. Naturally aspirated nastiness, man. Cody Davis is up. He says, thank you for responding to my questions. Really appreciate it. You're very welcome, Cody. And the next up is Corey Long. He says, you've already answered this question at some time, but how long do I wait to reapply pre-growth regulator after the very first application my Bermuda has ever had? Apply the first dose at half rate with some iron. So once you start, Corey, you're going to do it every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you're going to be spraying growth regulator if you're spraying it at half rates. That's what I would recommend. So half rate every 2 weeks, along with whatever else you're mixing with it. So if you're using fertilizer, in your case, sounds like iron, that will be just fine and it will produce a good result. You should not really have the lawn come out of regulation if you stick with that that spray cadence. So one thing too you might find, right, is depending the rate for primo for hybrid Bermuda, there's a range. So it's 0.25 up to 0.40 per thousand, right? So if we were spraying at half rate, what that means is if we got into like the hotter times of the parts of the year and you're saying, you know what, at like the low end, I'm not getting as good regulation, you could go up from like 0.125 per thousand up to 0.2 per thousand, and that would still be just fine. And again, you would spray that every 2 weeks. So what this looks like is this, right? Is if you find that the lawn is still growing a bit faster than you would like, and you want to see if the lawn will tolerate the higher rate, a slightly higher rate, which it should, because this is, again, we're still within label rates, is instead of, I'm going to give you the numbers if you're using a 4-gallon sprayer. So instead of putting half an ounce of Primo in 4 gallons of water and spraying that over 1,000 square feet, so instead of doing, instead of spraying 0.4 0.5 in 4 gallons of water over 4,000 square feet, you would take 0.2 times 4. So what is that? 0.8. So you would take 0.5 and then another 0.5 and another 0.3 in the same 4 gallons of water and spray that over 4,000 square feet. That is still the half rate, but that is on the higher end of the rate for hybrid Bermuda grass. So you can jockey with that, you can play with that. Anywhere between 0.5 and 0.8 every 2 weeks, you're still within label rates for hybrid Bermuda grass. So I always just tell people to just stick to the low end because most people don't listen. They spray it heavier. So I tell everybody spray it at like 0.8. Y'all be spraying it at like an ounce or even more. So that's why I tell people stay at the lower end. But you really can go between 0.5 and 0.8 and still be well within the safe limits for hybrid Bermuda. So just something to keep in mind. I hope that helps, Corey. If you have any other questions, let me know. But yeah, man, good stuff. Glad that hopefully you're getting good results with Primo as far as it's slowing down how quickly your lawn is growing. So good stuff. All right, next up is Joseph Ducre. He says, how do I get rid of Japanese beetles? Use an insecticide like a Celiprin, Joseph. So this would be a good option. So go to shop and then go to insecticide and fungicide. A Celiprin comes in either a granular or a liquid. They are both effective, both equally effective. The liquid will probably work a little bit faster because you don't have to worry about it. It's going to get down in the soil and begin working a bit sooner than the granular will, but both products are excellent. So I would point you to either a Celiprin SC if you like liquid or a Celiprin G if you prefer a granular. And I'll send you a link to where you can grab either of those in the chat here now. So hope that helps. Joseph Duque and Pren. All right, good. Next up is Archie Amos. He says, good evening, young man. Got my Revolution 26 Wednesday and did the first cut Thursday. Man, it beats my McLean hands down. I was also blessed the machine and placed your Vibrant logo sticker on it. I'll send a picture of the lawn. So you got this one. You sent you got the chrome sticker. You got this one. You got the bedazzle sticker. It's pretty cool, right? So because normally I got 2 different options. You got normally a lot of the products to get shipped with these, but if you get any of the herbicide kits, if you order the herbicide kits or a new or Pillar SC, you get one of these guys. So if you're one of these people that you want everyone to see you from down the street when your mow's out there, that's how you can get one. All right, but I'm glad to hear that, Archie. I'm not surprised. The Revolution is a really good mower. Again, I keep saying it all the time. Hopefully Lee's not listening, but he could sell that mower for more than he does because it really punches really punches well above its weight. It's a really good mower for the, especially for the money. So good, great choice. Great choice. Tavares Jones is up next. He says, "Hello, I have a turf type tall fescue in North Carolina. Local extension office general advice is to stop fertilizing after March 15th until fall. Okay. Any advice on feeding the lawn through the summer months? Thanks." Yeah. So what I would use, Tavares, if you're going to feed your turf type tall fescue during the summer, is use a fertilizer with a higher amount of slow release nitrogen. So you're not pushing a bunch of growth during the summer. So for the option for that would be this. So if you go to shop and the lawn fertilizer, this is the one that I would use. It's got higher potassium, which is going to help the lawn deal with the stress of summer, the high temperatures of summer better. And it's also a higher percentage of the nitrogen in it is slow release versus something like, say, Humic Max, so the 1608. So this is what I would use on a fescue lawn during the summer months. I'll send you a link to that, and if you are so interested, you can go from there. Let me see something here really quick, and I'll show you this as well too. So you guys don't, a lot of you guys aren't. I don't think you guys are necessarily making use of this. Let's see here. No, yeah, well, actually, I'll show you guys that another time. That's not ready yet. I'll show you guys this. It's a teaser, but I'll show you guys this on another occasion. All right. Next up, we have Robert Marks. He says, "Thanks for the explanation last week concerning spraying PGR at 3 times the rate due to my mistaking. I had mostly common Bermuda. My yard is not looking too great. Plus, I scalped at 1/2 inch and used both." No problem, Robert. I mean, it's an easy mistake to make. And, I mean, the thing with growth regulators, it tends to, like, the negative effects don't last forever. But I mean, now that you know what you did wrong, you'll want to correct it going forward, right? You don't want to, make a habit out of doing that. And let's see here. Julius Elias, he says, "Is it okay to put down," I think you mean granular. "Is it okay to put the granular down? What to do on," actually, this is it. "Is it okay to put down the granular fertilizer? What to do on the ground?" I'm not sure what you're asking, Julius. I'm not sure I'm not sure about your question. I'm sorry. So if you can ask it a different way, I'll help out. Robert Mark says, "Cartridges on the Sunjoy. I just ordered a new and was wondering if I should skip my bi-weekly PGR and pick it up the first week of July with the correct rate of Primo and a new." No, why? I wouldn't do that. No, I mean, you should be getting, I mean, if you order it, you should get it sometime next week, and you could just start that weekend. It doesn't have to be necessarily in other words, from the time you start spraying it, every 2 weeks you would spray it. So I always say the 1st and the 15th as like general guidance. It gives people like a reference. It kind of puts this in your mind that you're spraying this regularly every couple of weeks on your lawn. But if I would not wait until July to introduce growth regulator, I would get it in the plant prior to the time of year when the lawn is going to be growing most aggressively, Robert. So no, I wouldn't do that. Once you got both of them, once you got Primo and you got a new, I would apply them. I would absolutely apply them, and use I'm not sure what kind of grass you have. If it's a Bermuda, the video that I did on it a couple of weeks ago has like the rates that I'm using, and you get really good results with that. So that's a good, nice base to start from. If you want to raise, again, if you want to go up on the rate on Primo a little bit, you can. But again, I haven't had a need to. Like what I show in that video, those are the rates I'm using on my lawn, and it's producing great results. So I really wouldn't go up from that too much because I don't really think you need to. Plus the products are expensive, and why not make them last longer, right? There is that. All right, Chris Norton is, he says, "With tiff bare spots, I am mowing every 6 days at the lowest setting on my Ego rotary. Recent tools test only showed N being low. I have Quali Pro T-Nex and will try adding that. Thanks." Cool. Sounds like a plan, sir. Guys, I think we're almost out. Nixa Eagle says, "I've been Mowing neighbor St. Augustine creeping into our yard at 3/4 for a year, trying to kill it. It's some of the best looking St. Augustine on the street. The stolons just keep going deeper. Yeah, because you're just mowing it so regularly, so it's looking good. Oh well, there you go. There you go, Nick Eagle. I wouldn't have thought that St. Augustine would tolerate that very well, but according to what you're saying, it's living its best life with you mowing it like that. If you want to get rid of it, maybe like a selective or a spot spray with a spot spray with quinclorac, but just be careful. Like only spray your part of the lawn. Don't spray into theirs because you don't want to kill the grass. It's not a great way to make friends with your neighbors. Tavares says, thank you, sir. You're very welcome, Tavares. No worries at all. And then Archie says, which tip should we use for a celloprint, foliar or flood? You will use the flood jet tip. So for insecticide, pre-emergent, fungicides, if you're spraying Pillar SC, this. If you're spraying a celloprint SC, this. If you're spraying pre-emergent, this one, the white tip, the flood jet tip. And if you're everything else, your post-emergent herbicides, growth regulator, fertilizer, use the fine droplet, the red spray tip, and that will do it. That will get you. You'll be on your way, Archie. Well, guys, gals, I think that is all the questions we have. So on that bombshell, we will cue the outro music. And hope you guys got some value out of the show tonight, and particularly on that section on using your sprayer and how to get good results with it. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, you can always and drop a line at the comments at the end of this show, because they're going to go live once the show's over. The Golf Force Lawn Store, we've got you've got all our products in stock here now as it sits. As far as our granular fertilizers, the new fertilizer will be available here soon for order next week. So be sure to take advantage of that. And again, if you need your growth regulator, fungicide, insecticide, anything else for an amazing lawn, be sure to stop by and give us a look. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate all the love and support, and I will see you guys next week. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. Take care.